Hello, everybody. Welcome to PodcaS, episode 8. Today, joining me, we have Ray, Vest, and Liger.
That's us.
That is
Is
indeed.
this one say
Liger
hello?
muted. Vest is joining us again for a second time. Thank you, Vest. Appreciate it.
Am I the first repeat guest?
Yes,
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
famous.
if you count Wingo, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna start with that. But just to, I guess, not warn everybody, to let everybody know, this is going to be an E3 heavy podcast. We have a lot to say about E3, video games in general. You know, we love video games, us four, anyway.
Nerds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Liger, hello.
Ye-
You
yes,
there?
hello. Yes, I'm here.
Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Liger. As you guys know, I play Korg from Thor Ragnarok.
He's
And
from
I'm just-
Australia.
I am from Down Under, yes. And I'm here to have a good time, talk
Mhm.
with the fellow hosts and Vests, and discuss some E3 things.
Hell yeah.
All right. Before I can,
Thanks for coming, Liger.
thank you, Liger. But before we continue, Gryphon requested
No
yet another
problem.
kind of gift for this week. So
I requested. Okay, well, I didn't request the other 2 weeks.
no, he
so
did not.
really,
The other 2 weeks
and
were all me, but he wants to
It's
continue the
not
cycle.
just me. Yeah, might as well.
And with this new gift here, so here you go.
All right.
There's the
Enjoy it,
gift.
guys.
You have to watch that
But,
for 2 hours.
What is it?
Sugoi.
What time is it over there where you are, Liger? I know you have to wake up
It is
early,
currently
10 a.m.
It's 7 a.m.
Oh wait, 10
7
a.m.
a.m.?
Hello, what am I doing?
On a beautiful Sunday,
Sunday.
gloomy Sunday, I should say.
Gloomy Sunday. It's actually pretty nice where I'm
Yeah.
at anyway.
It's gonna get hot over the next few days.
What-
Oh boy.
How hot is it over there where you are, Ray?
Look, good old cellular. Right now it's 81 Fahrenheit.
81? Let me check mine.
One
right
day
now.
it's gonna get up to
82.
hundo.
Really?
Yep.
No. It's probably going to be horrible for me.
Hmm.
What about you, Liger? How hot is it over there? Wait, you said it's gloomy. How?
It's actually 7 degrees right now.
So-
Celsius.
so-
45
do you have that in?
Fahrenheit.
Okay. American units. Yeah.
45 Fahrenheit.
Best seems to be busy at the moment. I was going to ask.
Nope, just stuff
Okay.
in my face. What's up?
Okay. What's the weather like where you are, Bess?
Let me ask my weather app that I always have on my desktop
Okay.
because looking out the windows for chumps. It is
Yeah.
23 Celsius, or alternatively for you Freedom Unit folks, 73 Freedom Units.
73. Wow, that sounds nice, actually.
It's it was like 40 something Celsius yesterday,
Mhm.
which basically is like go outside and you just die.
Mhm.
But it's like super overcast. We're supposed to have a bunch of storms this weekend.
Nice. I'm actually annoyed that where I live, it rains literally like every 4 days. And so I just kind of like wait for it and just get upset. But it's been nice like the past 2 or 3 days, and I'm just waiting for it to be upsetting me, actually.
Dang.
But yeah. If you guys hear knocking in the background, there's like somebody. My roommate's like installing something in the house, so I think he has a guy here. You might hear some knocking. I might have to meet myself.
Ooh, a guy.
Ooh.
Come to
Does he do the
lay some
things?
cable. Yeah, he does the things.
Gotcha.
Before we get into E3 and stuff, Liger, do you wanna say like your ASMR story? How you got into ASMR?
Oh, it's my story.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, definitely. Okay, ASMR story.
Yes. What got
I'll
you
sort
into
of-
ASMR?
I'll sort of meld it into the GB story too, might as
Sure.
well, since
Why
that's
not?
technically the same story.
Mhm.
Basically, ASMR, first exposure to it
Mhm.
was definitely Baba Sen, those old videos.
I don't know who that is. Is that the
He's
Cosmic
the-
Barber guy?
Yeah, Cosmic Baba, the Indian gentleman who
Mhm.
was frantically rubbing people's heads. And just watching those videos is just entertaining.
Okay.
And then, that led one thing to another. What's ASMR? This and that. Looking up, when I sit down at the barber, why is it so enjoyable? that's sort of ASMR. And then on top of that, I was like, oh, there's all these people doing it. And then I saw, you know, the Darling, the GB, the Gentle Whispers. And I'm like, oh, okay, more people making it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's pretty much how I found ASMR. And then one day I was just into one of those nights when you're just looking up avatar stuff. I saw cosplays and Korra and stuff like that. And I saw GB's Legend of Korra. And I'm like, hold on, that's that ASMR girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then one thing led to another. And then found the channel.
That's
stuck
what
with the
I still call her.
Yeah. That ASMR girl.
Yep. And when I message her, just like, hey, ASMR girl.
Oh,
So
yeah.
funny. So funny.
For those who
Definitely.
haven't noticed yet, we don't have JeTz and Wingo this week. Just to clarify, if you
Wait,
haven't noticed,
Liger isn't JeTz? Oh my God.
yeah.
Oh,
And, yeah.
Altai Asni, what?
So that means you're actually fairly new then, right, Liger? Like, because the Korra thing was only like a year ago? Question mark?
Yeah, something like that. You mean for the 9 months?
No, I just mean like in general to you finding ASMR, it seems to be very recent based off of what you just said, like a couple years. Like you haven't been.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. You're right. It's been about a couple years. But finding GB was early last year.
Okay.
But subscribing, oh, sorry, it took a while before I subscribed. Sorry.
Yeah,
Like
I was gonna say
6
same
months
here.
before I subscribed. Yeah.
I was only subbed to Darling for a bit. Then I'm like, you know what? There's somebody better. No offense, Darling. I'm sorry. But,
You know what though?
what?
To expand on that, the
Mhm.
like the sub thing, I am very guilty of that, and I think it's more of a YouTube thing because like I'll
Mhm.
just go to the homepage, and because it recommends stuff for me without having to go to like your subscription page,
Mm.
I very frequently will watch creators but never sub to them because their
Yeah.
stuff's always there, so I don't have to go look for it.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
definitely get that. Like, there's definitely some channels I'm guilty of not subscribing to, but I like watch the videos all the time. And
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, I end up not watching them just because they're there all the time now. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing that like it's readily available for me. I'm just like, you know what, I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm not as interested because it's just like I didn't stumble upon it. I'm just like, oh well, it's there. I'll watch it eventually. Whereas like if it's in my suggested videos, I'm like, yeah, that seems interesting right now. But it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Something YouTube probably should change, but God knows YouTube's got a lot of other problems first.
But
Yep.
I blame that more on me because I'm a weird YouTube watcher. I don't know.
No, I think I think YouTube is partly to blame. Like there is some they could do a better job of like pushing you, or like instead of going to the homepage, like it should like default to like your sub page or something. Like
Mm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that
Yeah,
makes
but
more
there's
sense.
problems now. They're trying to rework how the subscription page is, where it's not chronological anymore.
Yeah, exactly why I say there's other fish that they need to fry before they get to this like minor complaint that's not really affecting the grand scheme of things a whole lot.
It's like their algorithm thing that they tried doing. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Whatever. I was gonna talk about fucking IHOB
Oh no.
bullshit.
All the IHOP memes going
I'm
around.
sure people have heard about the IHOB thing. So for those of you that don't know, IHOP decided to change their name. I don't know if it's temporary or not, to IHOB because they used to be International House of Pancakes, but they're now International House of Burgers. I don't know about you guys, but I never went to IHOP and thought, yeah, I should get a burger here instead of like a breakfast food or something like that. I don't know. You guys
No
go to
IHOP in Canada.
Okay.
No, I hope in Australia.
Ray?
International, it's a bit sus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter for me in terms of like order, like, you know, the actual restaurant serving burgers and stuff, whatever. But just the fact that all the all the other like fast food chains are just like memeing on them. It's really funny.
It's kind of out of nowhere. I feel like it was a meme at first, but then like they're sticking to it for too long.
Oh no,
like it should have been.
I'm not saying that IHOP is memeing. I'm saying that everyone, like all the other fast food chains, are memeing on IHOP, and it's really funny.
Oh yeah, I saw like the Wendy's like tweets and
Yeah, the
shit
Wendy
making
tweets,
fun
the
of them,
Burger
but, like,
King.
and
It's so funny.
I just
I mean, like, I don't know.
where that came
If it's a bad decision, it's a bad decision, and they'll get, you know, they'll face the noise.
Okay,
But-
thank you, Rocky, for clarifying. Apparently, it's just to advertise their burgers and stuff, and they're gonna change it back to IHOP.
I don't know.
And
It's like, why not expand their menu? Like, is it gonna hurt them? Probably not.
I think they've always had burgers, though.
Oh, have they? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like, obviously I go there for pancakes most of the time, but
Yeah, it's true. And you think IHOP? I don't really think burger. I think like
I just
breakfast
maybe
food.
sometimes I'm in the mood for a burger, and then I end up ordering a burger there.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
Something like
places
that.
like diners and stuff where I usually end up ordering like breakfasty kind of food. But
Yeah,
sometimes
I
I'm in
guess
the mood for like just like a regular sandwich or maybe a burger.
I'll try to make it like a diner instead, I guess, instead of just
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't know.
breakfast place. I don't know. Weird. I just wanted to talk about that because that's.
It's
I remember
did-
waking up
it's
to
happening.
that. Yeah.
I heard on Twitter that like in this through their social media, like the IHOP social media, that it is only temporary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just a promotional like stunt.
Yeah. That's what Rocky said as well. I'm like, okay, good, because that's kind of why would I don't know. Whatever.
It would I can't imagine like the amount of money that they would have to sink for any company to overhaul their image like that,
Yeah.
like to rebrand themselves as a different name.
I mean, they
that'd
just
be-
flipped the P around into a B.
Yeah.
it's true, but
Yeah. Also, IHOB sounds kind of weird. I don't know
it
if
sounds
that's
like
just
you're gonna
me.
say like I hobble. It's like what? So what? You're like drunk or you're injured or something? Like I don't. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so E3, um, we're gonna go in order of like the conferences here. And unless you guys want to, we'll shuffle around, I'm sure, but I think it's just better for continuity, I guess.
Mhm.
Keeps me organized. So the first one was EA. I actually didn't get to watch most of that.
You didn't miss much.
I didn't either.
Well, that's fair enough.
Pretty underwhelming.
Battlefield, Anthem.
FIFA, Madden.
Okay,
It's exactly what you'd expect from
Star
EA.
Wars.
Battlefield
Okay.
Anthem. People.
I did watch it. I just don't remember most of it. What Star Wars stuff did they show? That's something I did miss.
It was more them reiterating their commitment to make Battlefront perfect and not like they came at I forget who it was. He was like was it like creative manager or something? Came out and said like we realized we goofed. We're doing our best to change it. We still have a really like strong content plan for the future, et cetera, et cetera. And like it sounds good. And I to this day I know there's a lot of people that are going to dumpster on Battlefront too. And aside from the server issues that they had at launch, which me
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ray struggled through,
Mm,
aside from that, I thought everything else was really good. Like the gunplay felt good, the vehicles felt good, everything was good. But they had so many server issues on top of the just tidal wave of bad
Yeah.
press because of the loot boxes that it just sunk the game.
It
But I've
definitely
gone back to
did not
play it. I played it here like a month ago for a couple days with, I think it was Hispanic from the Discord,
help. Mhm.
and like it played great. So much fun. The way they reworked the classes and everything, really good.
Mhm.
I think Battlefront 2 is like it's going to be one of those cases where like if you're into it, you're having a blast, and if you're not into it or you still have this like negative vibe from it, I don't think they're ever going to change that.
I see.
But
Yeah.
that's all it was just them coming out and saying like we are committed to still try to make this right. But honestly, I bet you that commitment flies right out the effort as soon as Battlefield whatever hits
Yeah.
Battlefield 5.
Didn't they announce like another Star Wars game?
they did.
or-
They teased
no?
another one, I believe, right?
I think it
Yeah,
was called
Star Wars Jedi, the
Fallen
forgot-
Order. Yeah,
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order.
What
That's
kind of
the-
game is that supposed to be?
Yeah, I think they've said absolutely nothing. It'll be
Okay, cool.
probably a shooter because it's being done by Respawn, so that's the Titanfall guys.
Yep.
I would
it is.
assume it probably first person, possibly third person, but
Yeah. Okay. Hope it's like a Jedi Knight type of game. I want another one of those, or like even Force Unleashed type of game. I wouldn't mind that.
they said you are playing a Jedi. Like it's not just in the title for funsies. Like you are a Jedi, so you'll have a saber, I would assume.
Yeah. I hope
Excellent.
it's gonna. I really want another game like KOTOR or something.
Oh yeah.
I would love a new RPG, but I
Mhm.
don't think
Yeah.
that's happening anytime soon.
Why
Neither
don't
do
they just let Bioware do Star Wars again? Like, are they just like over that or something? It's still EA.
That could be promising. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they do have another Star Wars game being made. They just didn't show it off because there's 2 Star Wars games being made by EA that aren't
Mhm.
Battlefront. We learned about the one, so there's still that second one. We
Yeah,
might see
There's
that
hope.
at Gamescom.
There's hope.
A New Hope. Anyway,
Hmm.
what about Anthem? I
Ooh,
kind of watched
ooh.
some stuff from that, but nothing kind of new that impressed me from like the first time I saw it. I was like, man, this game looks amazing, but now I'm just like, I hope it doesn't suck. That's pretty much my thoughts when I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it looked
there's
good.
really
But,
nothing new. It's just more gameplay stuff, I guess. There's
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
more showing off what the game like is gonna feel. I guess it's gonna feel like when you play it. But yeah,
Mhm.
it has a lot of promise. It could pick up where Destiny left, like in terms of like their fan base and stuff. Maybe it'll reinvigorate some interest in the spacey kind of RPG shooter.
Another looter shooter.
Yeah, but with like mechs.
Definitely, yeah.
But there's so many places where they can go wrong, and that's with
Mhm.
any game. But we'll see.
It's just the fact that it's EA. I think it's just what people are worried about. Any good game, they're like, oh wait, it's EA.
Yeah.
And I think
Which
it's
isn't really fair
yeah. No, I get that.
because like Anthem's not even it's being published by EA and like there's that illusion that like these publishing companies have like a stranglehold on the company that's making the game and in some cases that's that's true, but like BioWare is making this, and I believe Anthem's being made by the core BioWare team,
Yeah.
like the original Mass Effect people are doing Anthem. So
I was
like
just about to say.
these are the ones that made Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, which aside from 3's ending is an extremely well-regarded franchise.
Yep. Love
There's
Mass
no
Effect.
reason to think they will fuck up Anthem. And Mass Effect 3 had that really fun multiplayer that a lot of people like really got into. So just imagine that on a very large scale, and that is what Anthem is.
Mhm.
From what I've seen of it, I'm interested. But at the same time, there's a lot of other games coming out that are starting to do this like co-op PvE stuff. Destiny is obviously the first big one, but now you got Anthem. Monster Hunter is going to be hitting late PC this year,
Mm.
PC later this year. I'm sure there'll be other games that like we might find out of later on in the year. And I don't, you can only put so much time into so many games, so I don't know.
For sure.
And there's a lot of stuff coming out next year as well. But
Mhm.
I'm interested in Anthem. I don't think it's going to be an EA shit show.
I hope not.
And also, JeTz did confirm earlier that in chat, the Star Wars game is an action adventure. That doesn't necessarily mean third person, but it heavily implies third person.
Hmm.
Definitely. What about you, Liger? What do you think about Anthem and I guess Star Wars as well?
Well, just to start off with Star Wars,
Mhm.
I personally, mind you, the 4,000 billion ping in Battlefront, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the different tactics, the massive battling aspect, playing with everybody. But yeah, it did leave you wondering, like, what behind the scenes went wrong, really? Like, what game maker would be proud to deliver something like that? That's my question.
Yeah, for sure.
And with Anthem, it's like, Anthem, looks cool, but like 6 years ago, I would have said, whoa, but now it's like we've seen so much like Anthem, you got Destiny, you got the newer Mass Effects, you got all kinds of games, and you're just wondering what's different.
Division was the other one I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
The other PvE
Division.
game.
There you go.
And Division,
yeah,
at
I
least,
trust you.
is a sequel. It's got a lot of,
Backing already.
hype behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sorry, go ahead, Liger.
Yeah, I was just gonna, like you said before, with BioWare, creating the original 3 Mass Effects, was that right?
Yep.
Yeah, they did the first 3.
Yeah, they're really well known for their storytelling, so that's probably what could be promising for Anthem, the story, which I'm very interested in.
I don't.
The way they've described it makes it sound like it's almost a Diablo-esque situation where you play through the story
Mhm.
and then it's at the end when it really opens up into the looter shooter sort of stuff.
That actually
That's
sounds
fine.
kind of nice. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind
That was
that.
very Borderlands 2. Borderlands had a lot of that where there was like some
Ooh,
post-game
yes,
content.
yes.
But that's the vibe that I'm getting because they keep talking about the story and how Anthem's really focusing on story over like Destiny. Like a lot of the story you kind of just gloss over. And that's the vibe I'm getting is that you're probably going to play, like, let's assume the level cap's 50 as it usually is in these sort of games. You'll probably play to like the story will get you to like level 30, 35, maybe 40, and then you just like do end game content to hit 50, get better gear, whatever their eye level progression probably is.
Mhm.
That's my vibe.
Definitely. Following Borderlands is well, the Borderlands formula it works. You know, go with it.
I like Borderlands too, but I think after I beat the campaign, I wasn't really wanting to go back and do some of the missions. Maybe like if it was DLC or something, I'd do that. But like all the other side missions and stuff, I don't know. I just wanted to kind of like shoot stuff, and I kind of felt like trapped, I guess. Like because I kind of like how Diablo 3 does their adventure mode thing after you beat the campaign. I kind of like that kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how you'd implement that into like Borderlands. So
the big problem for me in terms of games that have like, you know, usually go through your story mode first. A lot of games, Borderlands included, is like, okay, you can try to do just story mode and like, you know, not the side quests aren't they're technically not mandatory, but sometimes you kind of run into that wall where if you just do the story mode stuff, it becomes very difficult and sometimes like impossible to continue unless you do side quest stuff. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but for like, so, you know, somebody who's just trying to play through the story and, you know, just, you know, play the story and not really mess around with anything else, it just feels a little, I don't know. You feel like you're not like continuously going through the story, and I don't know, kind of bugs me a little.
no, I get that.
Like do side quests to get like extra gear to make it easier. Don't make it so you like have to do side quests in order to do it. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
It's a very tricky balance. It's basically the
Right.
issue here. It's very, very hard to balance because even you in an open world game, because Anthem, that's the big thing about Anthem is it's an open world game. Like you go back to the hub and you can pick up whatever, and then you go back into the open world, which is very Monster Hunter in that regard. Diablo kind of skirts around all that by like it is a linear experience, right, from beginning to end.
Yeah,
it's essentially a linear experience.
It's just like Easter eggs here and there. That's about it.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder in that open world to balance what Ray's saying of like doing the main scenario quest, but then you want to do these side quests, but you want them to be meaningful and rewarding and not mandatory, and that's like super hard to do in an open world. God of War, actually, a recent game that Ray finished and Gryphon has not.
God damn it, I knew it was coming.
Did side quests really well because the side quests were like they were almost as important as the main scenario, and they gave you items that were like really meaningful, but it wasn't mandatory. Like you could have skipped over it and you wouldn't have lost anything for doing so. It only added to the experience. It did not take away from it.
Definitely, I think. I guess I don't know. I have a lot to say about Borderlands too. I feel like they tried packing too much into it, but it was kind of weird. I don't know. I like Borderlands too, but I could critique it like so much though. That's just me being that.
Did you play it as a solo alone?
I played it solo a lot of the times. I rarely got to play with friends on that.
It's definitely one of those games where playing with the squad, with a group of friends, it's a completely different experience. You wouldn't feel the fullness of the game. Playing it solo would be different, of course. You'd notice more things, the bloatedness. But it's definitely worth a replay. Anyone who hasn't played it, play it. And try to group up with friends. It's definitely one of the games that is a must play.
It was great.
But to bring it back to the side quest for just a second, like the way that God of War did it too is like they weren't just like one and done side quests in terms of the like, you know, for God of War when you do the side quests, most of the time they were for NPCs that kind of develop as the story goes on too. So it's not just like, you know, you do some random side quest, you never see this person again. Like, you know, it's just kind of like a thing you do. But like in God of War, you kind of develop the characters more. Like, you know, some of the main characters more. And I don't know. It's a lot more. It gets you a lot more involved. And it like gives you some like pieces of dialogue from the other, you know, characters that you're already interacting with anyway. Like that you'd never get. And I don't know. It just like Vesta's saying, it adds a lot more to what you're playing. Like it's not just, you know, go talk to Bob over there, and you know you'll see him once and never talk to him again. Like
I love Bob.
All right, maybe Richard. Go talk to Richard.
It's like Shooty McShooty Face or something, whatever his name was.
Yeah, it's like if they add it like so that it, you know, it's meaningful, and not only the rewards, but you know you kind of get extra stuff from dialogue or whatever, like story progression a little bit, like character development stuff. That'd be cool too. Makes it just more incentivized. I don't know.
Yeah, some games I think do it, I don't know, to my preference. better than others, but that's just
Mhm.
subjective. Obviously, some people like, I don't know, random shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
I can't explain it.
Star Wars: The Old Republic does it pretty well too. Well, in some aspect, there's like you have companions, and you can do side quests for your companions, and you know it's like not necessary. It'll give you more XP, it'll give you items, whatever. But like you get to develop your companion more, and it's just more interesting. I mean, there's other random side quests that are the generic like you don't talk to this person, you never talk to them again, whatever. But yeah, but the companion side quests, the companion side quests are nice because you get that extra like character development for someone you're already interacting with like every moment of the game.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
That's a good segue back to EA though, and that's like someone mentioned Sea of Solitude was the other like surprise announcement, an indie game about dealing with like emotions, mainly like negative ones, depression and whatnot.
I actually
Where
didn't watch
like
a lot of it.
it's your character, like the emotion. I'm not sure the exact specifics, but like the emotions take on like manifestations. Like there's monsters. That was like the surprise announcement. It's an indie game though. Aside from that, it was like sports stuff. So like
So to
apparently
mention, like,
the FIFA announcements were apparently amazing. Like if you're a FIFA player, there was like some other Madden stuff, I believe, and was it NBA maybe? But yeah, the EA conference overall was extremely lackluster. The Battlefield 5 stuff, Battlefield 5, they've been demoing and showing off very weirdly because I think the game's going to be good, but they keep showing it off. And it's like, this is really boring, guys. Like, we just want to see tanks blowing shit up.
yeah.
And you're like talking about all this really boring stuff. Like, say what you will about Call of Duty, but at least they know how to throw together a trailer. Like,
True.
so I think Battlefield 5 will be great. I think they just keep showing it off in a poor light. And that was like really it about EA. I saw a hot meme on the internet about people like the EA guy was saying how like they donated all this money to charity, and which is awesome. But like using that as like a major talking point felt very hollow.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
considering like how many in our environment of Twitch streamers, like how many millions of dollars a year Twitch raises by themselves. Like I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that EA. I found their presentation to be one of the weakest, and if it hadn't been for Bethesda's being just so dull,
we'll get to that.
EA's would have taken the cake.
Did they talk about Need for Speed at all? I feel like they did.
No,
The Need
there was
for
What?
Greed.
Nothing.
there was no.
No
The last Need for
Speed.
Speed game did very poorly, so they might be taking a hiatus on that.
They're gonna go back to Burnout now. Then they're gonna kill that series, and then they're gonna bring out Need for Speed again when people are asking for.
But there's the game
Yeah.
Midnight Club. I think
Midnight
Rockstar
Club.
announced that they're making another game for Midnight Club.
That's Rockstar.
Yeah,
I was
Rockstar.
gonna
Yeah,
say
Midnight
just
Club is
Activision.
Rockstar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically just like GTA racing, but there's the game that's all about racing. It's
Like a good racing
pretty
game.
good. I thoroughly enjoyed all the Midnight Clubs that I got my hands on back in the day, and I'm glad they're
So to
making
say-
another one. But there's like really nothing about it. I think like I saw an article like a month or two ago, probably more than that actually, longer ago. But it's just like, hey, we're working on a game.
Midnight Club.
Get ready. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm excited because I love the games.
Me and Liger were talking about what is it? It's not even Ubi. We're not talking about Ubisoft right now, but we were talking about what is it? What is it called, Liger? The racing game.
What? Speaking of Microsoft,
What do you mean, Liger? That was a racing game.
Forza Horizon 4.
No, not that one.
The crew.
The crew. That's what it is.
Sorry.
God damn, Liger.
Sorry, I just excited to talk about Forza.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the one that I'm looking forward to because it's basically like Mario Kart. But
Oh, is it?
I don't
I don't know
don't-
anything about it.
I don't get into like serious racing games like Forza or anything like that. Oh yeah, EA didn't talk about Skate 4, which everybody was waiting for. Just saying.
Yeah.
Honestly, EA didn't talk about a whole lot of anything, which I
Yeah.
think surprised a lot of people. Like they
Yeah.
were, maybe they're holding stuff for later in the year because again, like even 5 years ago, EA or E3 was very different to where it was just like dump all your games here at this press event. But there are so many events now that they stagger them out more. So like there's still Gamescom,
Oh yeah.
which is in like 2 months, and that's a pretty big deal, especially for EA because EA has a lot of sports games, and the sports games, aside from Madden, which is obviously big in America,
Mhm.
most of EA sports games are much bigger overseas or or
Makes
on your
sense.
home turf, depending where you're listening. But in Europe is what I'm saying. So they probably saved some of their stuff for Gamescom. I bet you we'll see more about FIFA and other sports titles later in the year.
Speaking of other sports titles, Forza.
Oh,
Apparently, Microsoft talked about Forza. Tell me about that because I actually didn't see that.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
it's
Which
amazing.
one is this?
Horizon
Forza
4.
Horizon 4. Okay.
So it's their spin-off franchise. It's done by I think it's actually an Australian team.
Uh-huh. The first one was in
Yes.
Australia, wasn't it? Forza Horizon.
The first one was
No,
in
for-
Australia, wasn't it?
Wait,
Because it
Horizon
wasn't
3 was in Australia. Was Horizon?
Are all of them in Australia?
No,
All
one
right,
was in
okay.
America, one was in
was? Okay.
Australia.
Mhm.
I don't know where the third one was.
third one was Australia.
No, I'm saying the third. I don't mean the third one
Oh,
chronologically. I just don't. But anyways, Horizon 4 is it's in Britain. It's in the UK.
This
It
is
looks
a big one.
gorgeous. The Horizon games are known for being more like they're an open world game. You could drive around wherever. They're almost not. They're not 100%, but they're like 90% accurate to the region.
Mhm.
So in some cases, they've condensed down some things so that you can get from area to area a little faster. But generally speaking, what you see in the game can be found or at least represented in real life. So like you can literally like drive through. I don't know if like London and whatnot will be in it, but small English villages and whatnot will be there, and farms. That stuff's really awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a little more arcadey. The racing is a little more lenient. It's not like a really like difficult simulation racer. It's definitely slanted more arcade.
I played the second one, and I never really got into it much other than just pressing right trigger, like a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Racing games are, like I said, whatever for me. I like playing like Mario Kart or, I forgot the name again. What's the name again? Like
The Crew.
The crew.
I'm obviously excited for that. If I keep forgetting the fucking name of it, but
Well, yeah. If you had to compare them, the crew would be like a double A title, if that's a thing, and Horizon would be a triple A title. It's just that one step extra.
I can see that.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I just checked it out. So first Horizon was in Colorado, so United
Okay.
States. The second took place in southern France and northern Italy, and then the third took place mostly Eastern Australia, and then the fourth now is in was it Britain? Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Australia.
And Britain, if anyone knows anything about racing, if you're a Top Gear fan, you know Britain is definitely the place for a racing game. The
I
roads are
have to-
beautiful.
The Forza franchise and Microsoft in general have had a really good working relationship with the Top Gear people.
Mhm.
I have to imagine the Top Gear track and the building, all of that will be in the game.
I
That'd
hope
be-
so.
That'd be pretty cool. So what else did Microsoft talk about? I honestly don't remember.
The Microsoft
I
conference
don't
was
know.
huge.
They had the
Other than Nintendo, they had the biggest list of games.
they had the
There was
Sekiro Shadows Die
an
Twice.
infinite amount of games.
The Shadows Die
Yeah,
Twice
the-
game.
They were the first
Sekiro.
one to show
Sekiro?
that off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep. Well, technically, there was the teaser trailer last year at Sony's conference because everyone thought it was going to be Bloodborne 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being Shadows Die Twice, multi-platform. It's basically Samurai Souls, much faster combat.
It
It looks good, but we didn't see a whole lot of it. It's one of those things
Right.
we'll have to wait later in the year. There's the new Halo, which is called Halo Infinite. Supposedly is going to be Halo 6. Still really confused by the trailer. I
Yeah.
thought the trailer was very underwhelming for a Halo trailer, considering like Halo 5 had that completely bonkers shit of like Chief being dead.
Yeah.
So like you go from that to this trailer, and they're like back on Halo, which is weird. So I thought the trailer was very misleading. I didn't really like it at all. What else? There's DMC 5, which I obviously freaked the fuck out about because
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
I streamed the whole franchise here a couple months ago. Like I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan, and I was almost sure that series was dead. I genuinely thought it was dead. DMC 4 did not sell well. The DMC reboot was not well received. I figured like that was it. We probably won't see another one. Those kind of action games, they haven't really been made in a long time. Like we've seen them slanted more towards Dark Souls style combat now. Like there's not a whole lot of this like over the top action stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are getting to that now because Microsoft dropped Crackdown 3 and Cyberpunk, so there will be more action-based games coming.
Cyberpunk is a first-person game.
Mm.
Cyberpunk is first person. It is being described as Deus Ex,
Oh,
but it's just way better.
interesting.
Yeah.
Way better.
I'm excited either way. That's a game a long time people have been waiting
Oh
for.
yes, Cyberpunk will be amazing. I'm sure it's one of those things where I want to see more, but at the same time, I just know like CD Projekt Red, they do ace stuff.
Mhm.
And I like the people went back and realized that like Siri was teasing Cyberpunk like years ago in The Witcher.
Really?
Because there's a line of dialogue. So spoilers for the end of The Witcher if you don't know. But Ciri's ability is that she can, when she disappears, it's her going to a different reality. So that's why she's like always like bip bopping all over the place. Like she just phases in and out of reality. Well, one of the realities she goes to, she comes back and talks to Geralt about it and describes it as a city of giant glass buildings and flying like machines, which is cyberpunk. She was talking about like the cyberpunk world. So it's very possible we see Siri in Cyberpunk 2077.
I feel like
Probably as an
yeah.
Easter egg or
Yeah,
cameo. Like
yeah.
I don't see it being like an important thing because they would have to license Siri from the Witcher people to
Yeah.
do that. But it's very possible you see like a cameo or something. So that's cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, Gears 5 as well too.
Yep.
Not even just Gears 5, but Gears Tactics and Gears Funko Pop too. 3 different Gears games.
Yeah.
I don't know who wanted that much Gears of War, but we're getting 3 Gears games.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I don't know how is Gears 4 received compared to, I don't know.
I thought it was really good.
That's all right.
I think it was received pretty well. I don't know how much of a tail end it had, but when it came out, I know it was fairly well received.
Yeah, well, it's another one of those games in my backlog that I need to finish playing. But from what I did play, it was, yeah, not bad. A solid B game for me.
For me, I liked it
other
better
than
than
that-
Gears 3.
I wouldn't say that.
I didn't like Gears 3 very much. Actually,
I loved Gears 3.
it was interesting for me in like the Gears series. I thought the multiplayer as the games went on got worse, but the campaign got better.
Gears 3 was like my swan song of like Gears games because I loved 1 and 2. 2 was kind of all right.
2 was in like the awkward teen years.
Yeah. But I really loved 3. Like I played the shit out of 3. I thought like the shit that they added like their multiplayer, because I play a lot of Gears multiplayer, was just, I don't know, I liked a lot of it. That was really good. But still need to beat 4. I'll get back to that eventually.
Will you?
Maybe
It's not very long.
Okay. After I beat God of War, another GOW acronym game.
Yep. Division 2 stuff.
Division 2, was that at Microsoft?
Yep. Well, it was at like several conferences,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, there was a
First off
few
with
games
Microsoft.
that got like multiple like teases. Like Fallout 76 got like teased at the
Kingdom Hearts
Microsoft
3.
one,
Yeah.
but obviously it went into more depth than the Ubisoft.
To go back real quick, so there's the Gears Funko Pop as well, which they talked nothing about. It just looks like a watered down, probably more PG friendly Gears. And then Gears Tactics, which is Gears, but a tactics game. I love tactics games, but the balance in those games has to be like literally perfect, or your game's gonna suck. So that's one of those wait and sees. But I'm always down for a tactics game. It does look like it might be just like some sort of mobile-esque experience.
That's what I thought it was. The Tactics was just a mobile game.
Yeah, they didn't say, but like visually, it looked like it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a mobile experience, or at least a mobile one that can be also played on PC.
Yeah.
But Gears 5 looks good, and the acting is as spot on as it was for 4.
Yep.
And the Funko Pop one we'll have to learn more about. But Division, I'm cautiously optimistic for Division,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said on
looks
GV
good.
stream, it looks good. But so did Division 1, and then
Yep.
everyone got to the end of the game. Like it's Division's problem has always been content. I think they've learned that lesson because they kept saying how they've got more content.
Raids. We got raids, guys.
Yeah.
That was like their big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they know that. Hopefully it pans out for them. The other big problem with the first division was that it's very repetitious because at least in Destiny you have aliens, right? Like you can make all these weird aliens to shoot, or in Borderlands you can make all these weird mutants to shoot. In Division
Yeah.
it's just people. It's always people. So like how many versions of people can you make that are interesting to shoot?
It's true.
So like
Or
every boss is just a dude with a gun.
more armored up dude with a gun.
So as
Yeah.
long
Bigger
as
gun. Yeah.
So
yeah,
unrealistic. So
Maybe if
unrealistic.
they change like the scenery, I guess. But I don't know how they're gonna do that. Like,
Yeah, they made it more well in the demo they showed it was like on the outside. It was around Washington DC, so it was
well,
Yeah.
that's the
looked a
thing.
bit
If they're
nicer.
in like one location the entire game, it's gonna be tough. Like, I'm just saying, like if they were, like in the U.S. for like one mission, or you like later in the story or something, you get sent to like, I don't know, somewhere else.
France.
Yeah, France or something. It's gonna be different.
That'd be cool.
Russia.
But I don't know. I don't know how that would work
They should consider that for
because
sure.
I didn't play the first one, but I'm assuming they just kind of kept you in the same area the entire time, and that's where the story revolved around. I mean, that's kind of how it would be. Like if everyone's trying to
Yeah.
fight for
You're in
survival.
New York.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
first
not
one was like
Manhattan or something.
central New York.
just New York City in general. I don't know what specific area, but yeah.
I know you could go to Times Square, so that area.
Oh, there you
Yep.
go.
They showed Kingdom Hearts 3, which I remember.
Ooh,
Yeah,
They
I
showed
mean
the
literally
Frozen stuff.
everyone but Nintendo showed Kingdom Hearts. It was at Bethesda, like for
But that's the show Kingdom Hearts. It's not even our game, but we wanted to show you guys
You guys are
Kingdom
still gonna
Hearts
be
3.
excited about it.
I mean, I guess Liger could probably speak on it because I don't know if we've heard his thoughts on Kingdom Hearts yet. But like,
Kingdom Hearts. Personally, haven't played any of them,
Okay.
but I understand the hype. I understand the respect for the franchise. It's definitely in the running for one of the most ambitious crossovers in gaming history. Like you've got your Smash Brothers and all that, like comparing it. But it's definitely got a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and I think adding what they've been adding over the years and the long-awaited hype for Kingdom Hearts 3 to even be announced, this is a game that's like it's a gift to the fans, definitely.
It's definitely I wouldn't say like a touchy subject about like Kingdom Hearts 3, but so much could go wrong with this game because of people's expectations. And
Yes.
I don't know if I've ever.
especially the wait.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if.
I'm not saying I'm gonna be mad.
You're gonna be livid. I know it.
Mm. Worried about the law?
I will say, and I'll talk about this more when we get to Square Enix's conference, but
Mhm.
Square Enix pulled something special out of themselves when they managed to actually get Final Fantasy 15 almost right. Like it was like 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
And that was like a 12-year-old game that they somehow finally got out and it wasn't trash.
Yeah.
So if they
Yeah.
could do that with Final Fantasy 15, I can see them doing it with Kingdom Hearts because with Kingdom Hearts they've also got the backing of Disney behind them.
Yep.
So
Yeah. That's what I think.
Big Daddy Disney's not going to let them put out something that's not literally perfect.
Yep. For sure.
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were still good. I played some of the off series ones.
Birth by Sleep's really good.
Yes, I need to play that before 3 for sure. But I really did not care for like the other mobile ones like Dream Drop Distance. I tried playing that. I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just because I was playing it on the 3DS, but I also played it on the PS4. I'm like, man, this just does not translate well. For some reason, I didn't like it. They tried making combat a bit different. I liked what they did in 2.8, or not 2.8. Well, it was in 2.8. It's the one with Aqua. They call it 0.2. It's a prologue to Kingdom Hearts 3. They're very confusing with their fucking
Yeah.
their fucking naming schemes, but Yeah, the prologue to like Kingdom Hearts 3, I thought the combat was like really good in that. It was a good evolution from like 2. Dream Drop Distance, I don't know what the fuck that was. It was a mobile thing, so
Mhm.
I guess.
You know what's interesting too? They confirmed later on at E3 that Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually going to have a movie play when you start the game to cover the events of all the other ones, so that you're not just like, what the fuck is going on? Which
That's
like
nice.
it's nice, but it's also one of those weird things where it's like Kingdom Hearts has gone so far down the rabbit hole that they have to tell us what's happening because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
They also have like a complete package actually that you could
Yep.
buy. It's like $100. It comes with actually Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3.
Everything.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
1.5
every
and
single thing.
yeah, all the
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not even just 1 and 2. It's the
Yeah.
like it's the remastered bundles that you get. So it's 1,
Yeah.
2, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop. Like it's all of them, and you get a pre-order for number 3.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
anyone.
that's very common. Yeah, that's very common these days with a lot of. Well, now we're entering a point where franchises have been developed. Like, for example, if you had to compare this to the movie universe, you know, it's like, hey, you want to watch Infinity War? It's like, yeah, let's go. Hey, have you watched all the other 18 movies? Like,
Yeah.
I can say yes because I'm a fan, but like some people are like, no.
Yeah,
Can you like break it down for me? And like,
catch
no,
it
I
up,
can't.
yeah.
Go watch them. Come back. It's
What I
a lot. Yeah, go for it.
what I could say about the Kingdom Hearts series is I think you only really need to play like 3 of the games to get most of the story. I think that's 1, 2, and Dream Drop Distance. Other than that, I think you should be caught up on 3 if you just play those 3 games. But then again, I haven't played Birth by Sleep, and I also haven't played most of the other ones. But I don't know. I don't think I'm missing out personally. But I love Kingdom Hearts. I've said it multiple
Yeah, of
times.
course. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to like a lot of people, wouldn't it be nice to just go into a game knowing it's self-contained and you can enjoy it for what it is? Like, why do we always have to have something before? Why do we always have to know what happened previously?
People
Like, shouldn't
like
it be able to hold its own?
people like building universes and having lore and stuff. People.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
I
that-
enjoy getting
yeah.
immersed in like a game or a game series, and you know, being able to explore it. But yeah, I certainly understand the
Like-
point where it's like, you know, we should also have games where it's just like, you know, it's one and done. You're able to
Definitely.
just, you know, go in, have a good experience, and come out knowing, you know, that's it, that's the whole story,
Mhm.
and you're able to sleep.
Yeah, every game's
I
like
think-
a new franchise or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I can speak from the other side there. Like, for example, just a quick segue to Bethesda, Fallout 76. Everybody's losing their mind, and I'm just like, I've never played Fallout. What's 76 mean? I get it's a vault. I get there's like hundreds of them or something.
Yeah.
I think there's like 150 or something.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
Vestman
like, that's the thing.
explained it.
Like, do I have to play the other Fallouts to like really cherish what this game's
Nah.
gonna
No,
be?
no.
Definitely don't think so. It's also a multiplayer based
Like, okay, this is what I don't understand about the Fallout 76. Is it gonna be co-op or is it just gonna be multiplayer?
It's
both.
opt-in co-op. Like you can agree to work with people, but it's not like co-op in the strict sense.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you can invite people
For-
to like your group and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I
I'm
mean.
pretty
Like, but
sure.
if you're
Yeah.
going through the story and yeah, you know, there's a lot of usually like one-on-one like dialogue or whatever with like people. Like, how's that gonna work if you're in a group of people? You know what I mean?
Oh, there's so many questions about it.
Like,
Before we get too far into this, we did miss 2 games that I want to
Sure.
bring up.
Go
real
for
quick.
it.
Microsoft. Yeah.
Yeah, Dying Light 2 was finally
Oh,
shown
sorry.
off. It was
I was just
announced
about to
years
jump
ago.
back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was announced years ago, but finally it looks really good.
Mhm.
I thought Dying Light 1 was quite good. The story got a little bland towards the end, but otherwise was really fun. So I think number 2 looks good. But the big one for me is my boy Artyom, because Metro Exodus.
Metro.
yeah.
They showed during the Microsoft one. I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, that was during Microsoft, and then they showed it. No, I think that was me watching stuff on YouTube. But Metro, I love the Metro series. Like it's so well done.
Mhm.
I am very excited for Exodus, and it looks stunning. It looks absolutely stunning. So
Never played any of the Metro games. Played some of Dying Light
If you like,
You gotta
if
fix
you
that
like
connection.
story-driven shooters,
Mhm.
then you would like Metro, because Metro is very much in the same vein as like BioShock.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, story-driven shooter for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, that does cover the majority of the Xbox conference. So yeah, Fallout.
There was one more thing.
Oh, go for it.
A big one, probably more for the anime world, was Jump Force.
Oh, Jump Force.
Weed Force.
Anime the game.
I'm
Pretty
I'm
much.
quite
But
excited.
no
for
one
that,
knows.
actually.
Yeah. Like Jump actually means something. Jump is the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So you've had
Jump.
Yeah, Shonen Jump. Yeah.
exactly. Like a lot of people are excited about this game. Oh, all my anime characters are going to be in there, but it's just like anything else. There are rights involved. You're
Yeah.
not getting your Attack on Titan in there. They're not part of Shonen Jump,
Do
unfortunately.
you know what
Animes?
animes are part of?
Yeah. Shonen Jump, basically, your Naruto, your Dragon Ball, your One Piece. Death Note is part of it. That's the surprising one, so it will be there.
Mhm.
Your Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, and a couple other ones that I can't remember. But you won't be seeing
Yu-Gi-Oh!
anything. I don't
Yu-Gi-Oh?
know about Yu-Gi-Oh. Is it?
I'm pretty
Is
sure.
Yu-Gi-Oh
It is.
part of Jump?
I'm
I
pretty
don't know,
sure.
it might be. Yeah. You will see a lot of favorites, but you will be missing some. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not sure about One Punch Man. That
One
might
Punch
be a
Man.
very difficult one.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a part of Jump. I don't think it
Hero
is.
Academia will be there, just as JeTz just said, definitely, because it's part of Shonen Jump. It's Shonen Jump's #1 anime right now.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was looking them up
it-
and I didn't see My Hero Academia actually.
Like in
Yeah.
terms of ratings, week by week, compared to like One Piece, which has been lasting for almost 1,000 episodes, Hero Academia has shot up.
I was just saying I
Massively.
didn't know it was part of like the Jump like
It
branding.
is. It is.
Yeah.
But
okay.
people are wondering, will it be in the game? Because they're getting their own Hero Academia fighting game as well.
Yeah.
Well, they could borrow a couple characters. That wouldn't be like I don't think
Yeah.
that'd be against the whole thing.
Might actually
like,
hype
you could
up
have
their
like
own
All
games,
Might
too.
or something. Yeah.
Definitely. And
They
another
have
game,
confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to just finish off one fan favorite of this everybody here, Ori.
Or
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I wouldn't say everybody here.
Fan favorite to watch, maybe not play.
Other way around, I'd say.
Okay, all right.
I'd rather play Ori than watch somebody play it personally, but that might
Fair
just be from my experience of watching GB play Ori.
It's
No offense,
traumatized
GB.
What about PUBG coming to the Xbox?
It's
It's
been on
already on
Xbox. What do you mean?
I mean, why would they announce it? It's already there.
It's
Did
It's a really
they?
gentle reminder.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they
just
did,
a
they did.
gentle reminder. It's all that is. Anytime there's a major content update, they try to do that to get people playing. But the Jump Force game, like it was confirmed, it's a fighting game, third person. It's you have a 3-man party, which is pretty typical for tag fighters.
Mhm.
3-mans.
Mhm.
They did say it's going to have a more gentle combat system where basically they're just saying that it's not Street Fighter combos, like you're not pushing 52 buttons to do anything.
Mhm.
So,
That's good for me.
and it seems to be a little more entry friendly in that health and like management of resources and whatnot is pretty like low key stuff. So it seems to be aimed at the people who are anime fans first, not fighting fans first.
Yeah. Makes
I
sense.
will be getting it then.
Yeah.
I hope it's not like an Xbox exclusive. I don't think it will be. I think they just.
I
wanna
would
show it
be
off.
yeah, I think they probably just paid to show it off because let's be honest, like anime is big globally.
Yeah.
Anime.
And
We got
and
anime.
and the Xbox is honestly just not like big globally. PlayStation is so.
Yeah. Would have made more sense to show it on PlayStation, I think. But
Yeah,
whatever.
it was probably a behind the scenes like money thing. That's
Yeah.
all that was. They paid for the advertisement.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But yeah, so with that done, then yeah, we can go to Bethesda. Follow.
Okay, no going back, guys.
No going
No
We're
back.
going to Bethesda. Okay.
Can we talk about Halo one more minute? No, I'm kidding.
God damn it. Bethesda. Okay, so Fallout 76 was a big thing for sure
Huge.
for them. And also Elder Scrolls, their other big series.
New
I
Doom
think.
as well.
They really drew out what was it, Rage 2.
Rage
it
2.
was mind numbing how long they were talking about
Yeah.
Rage 2. I was like, please.
Yeah, as a
Well, it's because they didn't have anything. That's
Yeah.
why.
Oh my god.
as like an actual conference, it was.
It was very.
For
I
sure.
don't think what the games they showed were bad. I don't think that was the issue. And like I don't even like even the music part, which I thought was really silly and felt out of place, but like it's whatever at the end of the like it wasn't a bad performance. That guy was hype as fuck.
Mhm.
It just like so much time spent on Rage. And it just I think it was just paced really bad.
Yep.
Um
I was just kind of bored at times. I was like, okay, what's the
yeah,
next game, please, please
but
hurry.
like yeah, I don't think Rage will be bad. It looks okay. Rage looks
Mhm.
okay. The first Rage looked good. It played well. The second one, I was really hyped when they first started showing it. Then towards the end, I was like, okay, like a lot of this is just looking repetitive, but I'm still
Mhm.
usually down for a fun shooter. Like JeTz is saying in chat, Doom is by far my most exciting takeaway because Doom, the remake of Doom from 2015, 2016 was like my game of the year. Like
Mhm.
that is I think Doom is probably like a perfect shooter. Like it is so good.
I need to finish that game as well.
It's there is something about that game that is like it is smooth in a way that you can't describe as just like being like a high FPS. Like there's
Mhm.
something about that game that just works. And I'm so excited to play a new Doom.
I think it's like the sound effects and like the feedback that you get from like shooting people and stuff. I don't know. Like when
It's
you
probably
hit
just a
somebody,
combo
you're
of
just like,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I feel well. That's how I felt like about COD and how their shooting feels really nice. It's I don't know. I like the hit marker sound and just like the gun sounds and stuff like that. I don't know. COD does it pretty well, but Doom is probably much better in another way. I've played some of Doom, but like I said, it's one of those games I need to finish. It's a recurring theme throughout this.
Shocking.
Yeah, add it to the checklist there.
Yeah. There's
Um,
hundreds of games, so don't worry about it.
what about you, Ray and Liger, for Doom? Any thoughts there? I mean,
Uh,
it was a pretty brief trailer, but
You want to go
yeah,
first? Lee?
you know,
Go for it.
yeah, I'll be quick because I'm not really, not saying I'm not a fan. I respect the franchise what it is. It's definitely interests me just to see a different approach to a shooter, and like that he has brought like over the years.
Mhm.
And it would be nice to see another entry just to see how it holds up to games these days, because a lot of games are competing now, especially like if you had to compare it, 70% of E3 was shooters.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
Everything's about shooters these days. So it's good
just
to see
like
something like Doom come out. A bit different.
which is a shooter. What?
Yeah, but not in this traditional sense.
Yeah. No, I get
It's
you.
got
now.
its own style.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For
What else,
sure.
Ray?
Yeah, well, like Liger, I haven't played a lot of Doom,
Mhm.
even the new one. But I know one of my friends plays a lot of Doom, and he's pretty excited for the new one. But yeah, like Liger said, I respect it as a franchise, and who knows, I might pick it up this time around, just to get a feel for it. But yeah, like I'm glad that like a series is able to still continue and still get people as hyped up as people are about it. You know.
A lot of people really liked Doom, the new reboot one. Yeah, a lot of people I saw.
Right.
Yeah, like game of the year, like 9 out of 10, like fucking everywhere. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, and
it's really good.
to see
Mhm.
like it continue and make new games, it's exciting.
Mhm.
Must be doing something right, and I wanna get it. I wanna get in on that action. What makes it so good?
Mhm.
Experience it for myself.
And Doom isn't the only one that they brought back. They also brought back Wolfenstein, which they
Mm-hmm.
didn't announce a sequel to, but DLC for.
Youngblood.
Yeah,
Yes.
Youngblood. You play as the twins of Blasco, the main character. He has twin daughters that you play as, and it's going to be
Another game I
co-op.
need to play.
God damn it.
Wolfenstein's also very good.
Mhm.
I mean, it's literally a game just about like, you kill a lot of Nazis.
Killing Nazis. I like my scopes.
Yeah,
I like
killing
how
the
they brought
Nazis.
those two games back in like a modern like setting. Well, a modern setting, but brought it to today's kind of pace of shooters. Like,
hmm
just those two, because those are very iconic in
Mhm.
terms of the shooter world, I think. But still need to play them.
No,
Bethesda,
it
though.
is
Oh, sorry.
DLC Space Turtle.
How much is that DLC?
I don't know. I don't think they said.
$20.
I hope so.
Hope it's free.
Probably.
They Bethesda, I think, talked also way too long about mobile games. I'm not a huge fan of like the Fallout Shelter thing, but apparently a lot of people love it. It's on the Switch now and PS4.
Yes, and PS4.
Yep.
Any of you guys play Fallout Shelter?
For about 10
I
minutes.
played it. Yeah. I mean, it's not a very deep game. Like you just build a vault, and then like the end game of it is sending your people out into the world to get loot to make your vault better. But you know, there's not a whole lot to it. It was literally a hype game for Fallout 4
Exactly.
that ended up doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's continue.
I think I've played more Fallout Shelter than I've played of many of the games in my backlog. But I downloaded that other game that as a joke. Was it the Elder Scrolls
Legends?
Yeah, it's the fucking card game. Me and Seams downloaded it as like a meme.
And then they also came out with the one that's going to be VR, mobile, PC.
The Blades one.
Blades.
That actually
Blades.
piques my interest more than the other
Right.
two games.
I hope so.
Like, yeah. Do you play any Fallout Shelter, Liger?
Oh no.
I don't blame you.
I've never heard of it until
Really?
E3.
What?
Yeah.
It was a phenomenon here before Fallout 4, I think.
Wow, really? Okay. I guess I just never fell into it.
It's like a Pokemon Go type thing. Well, not really as big
Oh,
as Pokemon Go.
Talk about that disaster for a long time.
No, I think Blades, as skeptical as you want to be about mobile games, which a lot of the times can be justified, it looks fine. It looks, for a mobile game, it looks fine. And my biggest worry is that you're just going to demolish your battery playing something that looks like that on a phone. But I think the biggest meme of all the like things they showed off was the Alexa Skyrim thing, which they had that comedian guy, Keel, right? No. What's his name?
Keel? From Key and Peele,
Yeah.
right? One of them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Keegan, I think his name.
Yeah. Keegan Michael Key.
Keegan Key, yeah.
Thank you.
Keegan
yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Key.
Yeah, chat's got me.
Yep.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like they were memeing on themselves, but they actually went through with it, and like you can download it for Alexa and play it.
Yeah. I actually want to play it.
Really
And
fun.
it's good that they understand like that's a joke. Hopefully they understand like it's not just a meme. Like there is some genuine like ire behind it, but at the same time it's good to see a company like realize like, okay, we get it. We're kind of milking the cow to death.
I'm glad. I was happy, that they acknowledged it. They're like, yeah, I bet you guys are wondering what can we put Skyrim on next, that type of thing. And they actually fucking put it on Alexa.
I'm excited for the Fridge app. I don't know about you guys.
So the whole time I was waiting, literally waiting the whole time. I think a lot of people were waiting.
We
for
were
Elder Scrolls
screaming
6.
in the voice chat.
I was like, before Blades came on, like they were showing some Elder Scrolls shit. They're like, we know you guys like Elder Scrolls. I'm like, oh, this is it. And then it's fucking Elder Scrolls Blades. I was like, what the fuck, man? Why you do this?
It's illegal. It's illegal.
And then at the end, they finally, revealed
Teased it.
Elder Scrolls 6.
32-second
like,
long.
we're working on
trailer,
it.
Like a zoom in on a photo. Here you go.
I'm really happy for people that like Elder Scrolls games, but it is such a hollow announcement. Like it literally means nothing because the trailer, outside of just wild speculation about where it takes place based off of that tiny piece of landscape you see, assuming that's even accurate.
Yeah.
Like it's such a hollow announcement because it's one of those things. We know you're working on it. Like we know you are. You don't have to actually tell us. Like I know it's gonna sound like silly, but like if you're the kind of person that's like you needed that confirmation, like you should have known they were like, what else would they be working on? That's what they make.
That's true. I agree with you to a point on that, but because after they announced Fallout 76, I'm like, okay, where's Elder Scrolls? Like, come on, you can't go this many years without announcing an Elder Scrolls thing. I know they're doing Elder Scrolls Online, and that's
but that's not Bethesda. That's another
Okay.
company that does that. But it's just one of those things where like it just seems silly for them, like, because now you're just gonna wait like 3 years for this
Yeah,
game.
probably
Like
even more.
I bet I promise you I will put the my flagpole down and say like this is probably like Elder Scrolls is probably a 2020 or a 2021 title.
Clip it.
Can't wait for that. Jesus Christ.
Like it is not coming out anytime soon,
Right.
unless there is something going on internally at Bethesda, like that, like maybe they are staffing up like crazy and we're just not aware of it. But like, there's no way they've been working on Fallout, Starfield, and Elder
Oh
Scrolls
yeah,
at the same time.
Starfield. Ugh.
Yeah, another
So
short Taylor trees. Teas.
and I think
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna follow it up by saying like we at least there is some hope in the fact that Fallout 76 isn't Fallout 5.
Oh yeah.
Like
No, I don't think
it is clearly a New Vegas situation where they are branching off of the mainline franchise, because they've said it's the Fallout 4 engine with some minor upgrades specifically in the terrain department, but it's just the Fallout 4 engine. So like that shaves years off of dev time by just recycling assets and everything. So it's very likely that Fallout 76 was probably made by a small team within Bethesda. So their main team probably is working on, I would assume, Starfield, because it seems like they were a little more excited during the announcement of that. Like the Elder Scrolls announcement seemed more of like a forced, like, yes, it's coming, like just stop.
It's like a mic drop type thing. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, oh yeah, we're saving this to the end because we know people are gonna want it. I don't know.
Yeah, but I generally think like the Elder Scrolls announcement, it was very hollow. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
Like, everyone should have known that like they're obviously working on it in some capacity. It's gonna come.
I don't know if you guys remember like years ago when they announced Fallout 4. They announced it like closer to its release date than anything, I thought.
Yeah,
Am I
it's same.
remembering
Well,
that wrong?
76. No, it's the same. They did the same thing with 76. They
Yeah,
announced
yeah.
it at they announced Fallout 4 at E3. It came out
Mhm.
that year. The 76 was E3. It's coming out this year.
Why don't
But
they do that with more games? Why they-
Bethesda's been doing that for a little while. Rockstar usually does something similar. Red Dead they announced a little early, but
Yeah.
it's kind of nice when you get the announcement. And then that's again why Elder Scrolls. I think we're gonna be like it's radio silence on Elder Scrolls for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But to finally wrap it up and like to end with Fallout, I guess, because that was the big one. I'm interested, but I'm very concerned that a lot of what they talk about is just going to be like griefers and trolls.
I
like
think my friend told me, I don't know where he found this or if this is even true, but he said that there's going to be private servers that you can set up for just people.
Not at launch though. Initially,
right.
the servers are just open.
That's what I said. You said eventually or whatever the wording they said, it wasn't immediate.
Yeah, and they've also said that like the PvP stuff, like it's like pseudo opt-in, like there's ways to not do it, and there's ways to make sure like your base can't just get randomly nuked, but like they are very like hazy on the details, and I don't like like I'm not gonna play like I play games like Rust and whatnot where I can have my stuff destroyed, but those are games where like the investment in your base is a couple hours, or you're working with so many people that even if it's destroyed, like you can get that stuff back. Like Fallout's an RPG. I'm gonna put like 30 hours into playing that game, collecting loot, and then it's just gonna get nuked. Like, why the hell would I want to do that? And they've also said that like when your base gets nuked, it heavily damages but doesn't destroy. Then like what the hell is the point? Like so then there's no value in the nuke. It's just an inconvenience.
That's strange.
So
Why would a nuke not completely obliterate it?
It's
a
so
nuke.
weird. There's so many things floating around, and none of it is like it's hazy. Everything is hazy about this game.
There's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers.
I feel like because they were super excited about the multiplayer thing and they were super excited about like the nuke aspect, they thought it was cool, but then like everyone brought like logic into it. And they're just like, well,
Yeah.
forgot. We didn't really look that far into it yet. We don't know.
We'll just have to see.
The only thing I did hear definitive about the nukes, which makes sense, is that if you nuke areas on the map where people aren't building, is it creates high-end zones. Like you go there for raiding.
Oh,
Like
that's cool.
you'll nuke it. You'll nuke. Say like you nuke like a shitty like swamp. That swamp may have just been level 5 filled with rad scorpions. Now it's going to be a level 50 zone filled with like mega death claws and stuff because they're drawn in by the nuclear fallout, and you can get
Nice.
better gear there. So that's like the only thing I've heard that the nukes can definitively do that makes sense within the confines of Fallout, obviously.
Okay.
But everything else is just like I don't want to do PvP, and they said VATS is in the game. So like what kind of
yeah, how is
bullshit
that gonna-
PvP? Like if you've just leveled up your character so you have 100% accuracy, you could just roll up on some person who's not paying attention, VATS them in the head, and boom, instant kill. Like what the fuck? Like it doesn't make any sense. None of the multiplayer stuff, like it's all really hazy, and I don't get it.
We'll just have to see when
Yeah,
it comes out
gotta
or
be,
when they release more details.
Waiting and seeing.
Yeah.
But,
So I want to be optimistic because it's Fallout, but I'm just like very cautious.
No, yeah, I definitely understand the skepticism behind it because there's so much that could go wrong. And
Yeah.
like I said, yeah, there's a lot of questions that they haven't made answers for, and a lot of people are just like worried about that for sure.
Yeah. I feel like they just aren't aware that internet culture is filled with assholes.
Yeah.
Like what are they? Yeah, I don't like. I want to have faith in the community, but like if I'm on a server with 20 people, there's a good chance at least one of them is going to try to kill me a lot, or is going to try to go around killing everyone. Like
I would never do
We've
that.
experienced that firsthand in a
Yeah.
Minecraft server on the GB Discord.
yeah, like
Just
it's
saying.
I don't. It's really weird.
Mhm.
I think the PVE side of it sounds fun, like working
Oh,
with your
yeah.
friends and
Oh,
whatnot.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That'll be plenty of fun, and like building a base together, like that's great. But it's as soon as you mention PvP, there's just infinity questions that come up, and it seems like they are not prepared to deal with them,
Mhm.
or they didn't have the answers at this time. So
So
Yeah.
I'm just like Starfield. There's literally nothing about that unless I missed it. Is there
No,
anything
the
on that?
the teaser trailer was a satellite.
So
Wow.
it's basically like, yeah, we're working on this type announcement as well, right?
Very, very iffy on space games. No Man's Sky did not end well.
There was a game that looked exactly like No Man's Sky. I forgot the name of it, but
Yeah, it's an indie.
I know. it was like an indie game. Oh, it was the Factorio game, Satisfactory. That game we were talking about that a bit.
Satisfactory. What?
Yeah, it was like
That game looks
it
neat.
was on the PC showcase after the main conferences were
Oh,
over.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the PC stuff.
But basically, what it is, it's like No Man's Sky, the adventure, different planets, whatever. But it comes into play where it's like the factory, like automotive gameplay of like Factorio. So you make like all this shenanigans, all these like machines and automate things, and build a town
So
of.
is Starfield gonna be, well, like I said, we know nothing about it, I guess, but is it gonna be like another Fallout type of game or another like Elder Scrolls type game? Like, you know what I mean? A Bethesda game where, you just you're this character and you run around collecting shit and
What game?
yourself better. Starfield.
I think all they confirmed was that it is an RPG.
Okay.
I
So
literally,
I feel like
unless
it's gonna
I
be
missed
like,
it.
yeah, more
Well,
like
it's
Prey.
something new. Yeah, it's something new. So I look forward
Yeah.
to the next announcement.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I know
sure.
one of the big things they were saying afterwards is just that Starfield is a game they've wanted to do, but they couldn't due to tech reasons.
Whew.
So
Okay. I'm
there's
curious to
there's
what that
something
means.
in the game. Maybe it's VR. Maybe that's the tech. I don't know. But they
Could be
like
that.
it's apparently going to have some cutting edge technology behind
Just
it.
like
So
the scope of the game, I guess they wanted to do.
Maybe.
could be.
It could be open world. A lot of space games are locked down just because open world in space is something. Ugh. Think about it. What
It's
kind of
so
technology could
vast.
support that? Yeah,
People could barely do open world on Earth.
exactly.
So yeah, hopefully it's good. Rahi was asking about the Prey DLC. Did anybody here like interested in Prey?
For me, Prey was a open and shut case. Like I don't plan to go back. The DLC I was watching actually streamer Code Carnage play some of it. It looks fine if you want to go back to the Prey world, but the DLC is like $25. And it's not story based DLC. There's just some like weird survival modes they've added and whatnot.
I see.
I mean, if you're a hardcore Prey fan, or if you pick it up as a bundle on a Steam sale, totally. But
Mhm.
I have no interest in going back. For me, Prey was about that story, and that is complete in my eyes.
That is not a game I have played, actually. I played
Either way.
back then the first Prey. That was like 2005 or 6, I think. It was a while ago. I played that
Mhm.
Prey. And
Very different.
yeah, definitely. I remember my brother playing it, and I was like, yeah, this looks cool. And I just, never played it.
But yeah.
Is that it for Bethesda? Pretty much?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
unless there's more to talk about Fallout, but
No, I think that was their big guy.
Yeah, that's the big
Yeah,
one.
For sure.
I mean, we get.
Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, continue. I'll go after.
I was just gonna reiterate, like, cautiously optimistic, and more Fallout 4 isn't necessarily bad. They didn't talk much about the story. They didn't talk much about like what's gonna happen in the game, like lore wise and whatnot. But I'm hopeful because I really do love the Fallout games. But I was kind of burned on 4. Like the story was pretty rough, and the gameplay got pretty repetitive.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really worried that this multiplayer is going to be bad in 76. But that's all. I'll finish up on Square Enix is next.
What happened with Square Enix? It was like 30 minutes, wasn't it?
It was really
Well, I actually
quick.
have my list. I have the list that I did for the TV show. So
All right,
go for it.
So it started with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which looks great. I'm streaming Tomb Raider 2 right now, which is a lot of fun. All the 2 remakes are really, really good. And Shadow looks really awesome as well. And then Final Fantasy cross Monster Hunter stuff. So
what? I missed that. I missed that.
So in Final Fantasy 14, there's going to be a Monster Hunter Fate that you can do where you fight the Rathalos and get Rathalos stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And then in Monster Hunter, there's going to be a behemoth that you can hunt.
Okay, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I don't know about Final Fantasy shit. So
they haven't confirmed what the rewards for doing the behemoth will be, but people did see in the trailer there's like a quarter of a second image of a cactuar instead of a calico, so maybe you can get a
That'd be
that's
so
awesome.
cool.
I would also expect like probably either behemoth horn weapons or behemoth hide armor or something.
Yeah.
Get a Moogle as your
can't
calico.
I don't think we have any 14 players here besides me, so it'll probably only be the Monster Hunter side of things that you guys see. Unless Liger, you don't play Final Fantasy, do you?
No, unfortunately, no. I've maybe a long time ago, 7, but that's pretty much it.
But definitely not 14.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, definitely not. But I respect the game, man. That is amazing. Like, wow, like 15. Like there's been 15 games. It's crazy.
There's been
more.
Tons of
if you actually include every Final Fantasy, there's something like 30 of them or something like that.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 10.
10,
Always in my
10
heart.
2,
Let's
yeah.
go.
You need to finish 13, Gryphon.
Yeah.
I do. I got like to the second disc on Xbox, then I was like, I'm out.
This, yeah.
Peace. I'm playing Black Ops.
Oh, okay. 13-2 though is a
Is it-
ride. All I'm gonna say is a ride.
Okay. I have all 3 in my Steam library, so
well,
eventually.
Lightning Returns is a little different.
Okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't suggest that one. I suggest 13 and 13-2. Highly. I don't know. I really enjoy the combat system for that game.
I will do it just for you, Roy.
Thank you.
So what was after Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter?
Life is Strange.
Yes.
People have been talking about that. I've seen nothing on it. That's just because I haven't like looked it up. I don't know.
So you basically, they are calling it, this is not Life is Strange 2. They are calling this Life is Strange, whatever. It's the kid superhero something, I think. Captain Sparkle? Spirit.
Captain Sparkles.
I don't know. But they are officially saying this is not Life is Strange 2. It is a spin-off. It is a side story, whatever. It sounds like it's not going to be a bunch of chapters. It's just one big episode where you basically play as a kid in the Life is Strange universe. But the time I was watching the trailer a couple of times, because I even spoke about this with GB on her show, on the live stream, I guess. The time frame, you can't nail it down because there's nothing in the trailer that explicitly states the time. Like there's no technology. The only thing we see is a TV, and it's an old like tube CRT TV. So you would guess it probably takes place before Life is Strange. Like it probably takes place in the 90s or maybe even the 80s. It looks like somewhere up north, possibly Alaska, because like it's heavy snow, like winter scene.
Canada.
It could be Canada. It could be not in America.
Canadian.
You just play as Vest the entire game.
I don't remember seeing an American flag. But the big thing is this kid. He's like very imaginative, and he imagines these things. Like the big scene. There's a couple big scenes, but the main one that people were focusing on is there's a snowman, and he puts a firecracker in the mouth, lights the firecracker, and blows up the snowman. But in the kid's mind, he is seeing it that he's using magical powers and shoots a fireball at the snowman to blow it up. And the camera kept switching between what's actually happening and what the kid sees. And so it's kind of implying that the kid has these, like, he's using his imagination. That's his superpower. But it never actually explicitly states if he has any impact on the world or if it's just all in his head. But there's very couple quick, like, quarter-second snippets where you see the kid basically look like he's in, like, hell or something. Like, he's in, like, some demon world. It looks really weird. So that is, I would have to assume that them implying that, no, he actually is tapping into something weird and unusual.
It sounds interesting. It sounds more interesting than Life is Strange to me, honestly. I did like Life
I'm
is Strange.
super into it. GB, obviously not, because for GB, when we talked about this, she connected with Life is Strange because she liked the characters in the romance story.
Yeah.
That fell completely flat for me, and I could not have cared less about Chloe. Like, I hated Chloe. Like I said on stream, when it came to the choice at the end, like, I axed Chloe so quickly. Like, it wasn't even
not a second thought.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't stand Chloe. I literally could not stand her. I wanted her gone. So for me, like, I didn't care about those characters. But this kid, like, this seems much more relatable and interesting for me because I am there for the powers and the abilities and the weird stuff.
That's definitely what interested me about the first Life is Strange is Max's turning back time and being able to change outcomes and shit using her powers. I thought that was really cool. Another game I need to play.
Definitely the best way to explain it. This is one for the boys.
For the boys?
There's no way to put it but that.
Okay.
For the boys.
I don't
like it. Everyone can enjoy it. Everyone can enjoy it. But my point is, this is for me, okay? It's mine. I was born.
There's definitely.
I want this.
No, there's certainly something to be said. Like, obviously, you can enjoy things as a different gender, but there is something to be said. Like, an older guy is going to connect to his childhood stuff in the same way an older woman would connect to her childhood differently, and there is that, like you're saying, connection there. But I never did that as a kid though. Like for me, like that's not why I'm gonna play this. Like I'm playing this for like the weird stuff that might happen.
No, definitely the powers and shit are cool, and just like how they play into like real life situations and shit like that. I don't know, just interesting story. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see the father-son bond. That's probably my perspective because we
to
don't
watch
see
Boy.
a lot of games.
Yeah.
there's no better father-son bond than Kratos and
Boy.
Oh, sorry.
Boy.
Saturdays is for the boys, just like PodcaS.
I mean, they got 3 episodes. Let us just have one, okay? They got 3 episodes of Life is Strange. We just want one.
Yeah, for sure.
Just one.
Yeah, overall, I'm interested in this. And the fact that it's just one big episode, even more so. Like you just knock it out in a couple hours and cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the Life is Strange universe, so there's implied interactions with Chloe and Max, if like that's your thing. So
So what was after Life is Strange?
Dragon Quest 11 came next.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh,
That game, like we knew that was coming. This was just like a reminder, like, hey, this is still coming. If you're a Dragon Quest fan, you're probably gonna love it. If you're not, like, it's a hardcore JRPG. If you're not into that, this isn't gonna change your mind. Dragon Quest is one of the lighter JRPGs. Like, it's not super deep like the Final Fantasies or like the Tales games, like which really go down the rabbit hole. Dragon Quest as a franchise has always been a little more lighthearted. The combat's not quite as intense. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking like more Dragon Quest.
I played something, I guess, Dragon Quest-esque. I played Blue Dragon on the Xbox 360, and that was it had the same style.
Oh, Blue Dragon! I remember that.
Yeah,
I look
it
that
was. I probably by the same people that made the Dragon Quest games, but they just made like a whatever type of
You're
game.
close. Blue Dragon was made by former Square Enix employees.
It was a great JRPG. That's when I was like really into them, and
they went on to make Lost Odyssey after that.
Oh,
another
Lost Odyssey.
very
Yep.
a very JRPG game, very Final Fantasy, and you can see like they left Square Enix just to make more JRPGs. So
Blue Dragon. I want to replay it now, but anyway. I don't have much to say about Dragon Quest, honestly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've only played a couple. I think the game will be good.
Yeah, I haven't played much of it either, but I don't know. It looks interesting. I might check it out. I was always fascinated because it looked like Dragon Ball, so I was like, maybe
for obvious reasons.
Well, yeah.
Literal same
I was like,
style,
you know,
1-to-1.
maybe. I mean, obviously, it doesn't translate 1-to-1, but I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It looks cool. Maybe I'll check it out. And I haven't.
Yeah.
And then, maybe I will now.
You might like
For those that don't know, Akira Toriyama, the person who made Dragon Ball, also did the art for
Animation.
Dragon Quest. Yeah, so that's why like there's some characters that look identical. Like you can get one-to-one
looks like
representation.
Mm-hmm.
The red trunks.
Someone looks exactly like Trunks. I'm like, huh, that's not Trunks.
But
yeah,
with Goku's head or something.
After Dragon Quest came an actual new announcement, Babylon.
Oh my
which
god.
looks it was a short trailer, but it's like Final Fantasy meets Dark Souls,
Dude.
which I'm
That sounds
so
amazing.
into that.
I missed this too. What the hell?
very
Why did I miss all the good shit?
interested in that. That's probably
Yeah.
like one of my
Waiting
most
for Elder
like
Scrolls.
favorite like releases from E3. Like seriously, it looks so good.
But like so little information was shown about it that I can't really make an opinion. But that trailer looked fucking amazing. So I'm hopeful. If it's just like a Final Fantasy like over the top weapons and armor combat game, but with a Dark Souls style action system, then I'm sold. Sign me up. Yes, please.
Linking the trailer in chat right now.
What do you think about that, Liger? Did you see it?
Babylon?
Yeah.
Saw a little bit.
Mhm.
Looks nice. Definitely.
I feel like that's a lot of opinions on some of these games.
Well, I mean, for
Like,
people
it
who
looks good.
like don't know what
yeah,
it is. Like,
Yeah,
I really can't
definitely.
say.
That just reminds me. Square Enix. It was okay lineup. Not much to offer though. Like as
It was
JeTz was
short.
saying, no Final Fantasy VII news.
No Avengers.
I was gonna
Mhm.
get to that at the end, but
Oh, we got Just Cause 4. Forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
That's one.
yeah,
That's something
there's
fun.
yeah, that was literally it was next on my list. Just Cause 4, but that's multi-platform. There was already rumors that this was coming, but it wasn't confirmed yet. So this is confirmation. Looks like more Just Cause. This time it's in South America, I believe. Was it Southern Africa or South America? I don't remember. But it looks like more Just Cause, it's basically just an open world game similar to your GTAs or your Crackdowns or whatnot, but with crazy over the top shit going on. Like you have a grapple hook, you have a wingsuit, you can call in cars and boats and planes and
Yeah, very over the top like action game.
yeah.
They're not bad.
It looks really good. Looks
Yeah.
really good.
Mhm.
If that's your thing, that's your thing. If it's
Yeah.
not, then
I played the first one.
Yeah.
well,
Very tropical.
I definitely recommend playing 3 because
Mhm.
3 introduced a lot of new stuff to the series that looks like 4 is carrying on with.
Yeah,
But
same
yeah.
character, right?
Yep, Rico.
Nico. Oh, Rico, not Nico.
Wait,
Sorry.
is he the same throughout all the games? He looks different in
all-
like 3.
No, it's always been Rico. It's just he's got a HD overhaul when 3 came
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
the first one he looked like Antonio Banderas. That's what I thought he looked like anyway.
but then after that came Octopath,
Yeah.
which comes out next month, that's not new. It's just a JRPG made by more former Square Enix people. Looks really good. Looks
I'm
really,
pretty sure
really
that's
good.
on multiple platforms.
No, this Octopath is hitting Switch.
Yeah, Switch. Yeah, sorry.
This game does look
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Switch only.
Which game?
Oh,
2D
that's that.
game though. A 2D game.
That's that. Oh, a beautiful 2D game with a lot of sunshine, right? The
Yeah,
shading?
it's a 2-dimensional like 16-bit game, but
Mhm.
it's rendered in 3D and it uses 3D lighting and effects. So
It's amazing.
yeah, it looks really unique in that regard. And then the final game from Square Enix was The Quiet Man, which no one knows what that is.
I was.
It's a deaf guy beating the shit out of people, I guess.
I remember when the name popped up. I was like, okay.
Mhm.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
Uh,
they didn't talk about the game at all, and I didn't look into any post game stuff or post E3 stuff to see if there was anything more said. So
Mhm.
I don't really know.
I
Yeah.
just it didn't impress me. I don't know.
And we saw so little gameplay as well. Like it was mostly real actors. Then it transitioned to about 10 seconds of gameplay, and then back to
Yeah.
the actors. So
Mhm.
very confusing. Not really sure what to expect from that.
Mhm.
And then obviously Kingdom Hearts was the finisher, but we
They
already
didn't show anything new. I don't think. Did they show Frozen again? Or
That did some
they
extra
didn't.
stuff, I think.
There was it was a different trailer than the Xbox show, but it was I
Yeah.
think nothing new. I think it was just more
More of the Final Fantasy
world.
side of it, I think.
No, there was still
Yeah.
that I actually pointed that out on with GB. Like they are suspiciously quiet about the Final Fantasy side of the game.
That is so true. I haven't seen a
I
lot
almost
of.
wonder if they've written like it out.
That's what it feels like. I haven't seen much Final Fantasy characters like at all.
There's
I
been
ju-
none.
I
As
just
far as I
noticed
know,
that.
there's been none.
Yeah, like it's the first game that they really kind of like emphasize. Yeah, Final Fantasy's here, and then after that
Yeah.
I mean, they had Sephiroth in 2 and Cloud.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the Kingdom Hearts stuff still looking good, but nothing new there.
And that was it for Square Enix.
Yeah, overall, I thought like it was very fast and to the point.
Yeah,
And
I
I
like
don't
that
think it was
about it.
bad. Square Enix's biggest issue was just that so much of their stuff is spread out among other conferences that,
Yeah,
aside from Babylon, there wasn't really a whole lot like that was like, oh wow, like this is new. Like it's just like, oh, we knew this. Okay, this is nice.
mhm.
The biggest letdowns, and JeTz brought it up in chat a couple times, was there was Avengers was not shown off, which
Mhm.
I found very weird. Everyone was positive we were finally going to see Avengers.
Mhm.
So we'll probably see it this year, maybe at Gamescom or something, because it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense for them to release it after the next Avengers movie. Like there is no company in the world stupid enough to miss out on the hype train that is the Avengers right now. So like
Yeah,
I promise you that game is going to be shown off this year. So we'll probably see it at Gamescom.
definitely should. Yep.
The big thing was there was no Final Fantasy
Yes.
7. But
Yeah.
if you were expecting that, like that's more on you. Like it's all Kingdom Hearts right now. They will there is not going to be a peep about Final Fantasy 7 until Kingdom Hearts is shipped.
I think it was crazy that they even showed Final Fantasy 7 remake in the first place, like when they did
Oh
that.
no,
How many
yeah,
years
no,
ago?
they shouldn't have. They
It
shouldn't
was
have. Absolutely
fucking
not.
crazy.
That felt like more of a rushed thing. Like they just wanted to I don't know. Like I don't know why they would show it so early.
It didn't look bad. It looked like Final Fantasy 15 with
But what
Final
they
Fantasy
showed
7.
But what they showed, that the reveal trailer, like that wasn't even gameplay. Like that was just a CG thing they threw together.
Yeah.
They did have some gameplay shown off, but for those that don't know, like the Final Fantasy remake was actually scrapped. They're redoing it. Square
Oh.
Enix several months ago now axed the company that was making it and are now doing it in-house internally.
I see.
So
Sounds good.
it's being completely overhauled, but they did confirm on the last day of E3. The only thing they said about Final Fantasy VII is that it's officially in production now. It's not in pre-production. It's not in planning. It's actually in development,
We're
active
working
development.
on it.
So, and that's obviously a result of like Kingdom Hearts 3 is essentially done, right? Like, there's no more
Yeah.
development on that. For the next 6 months, it's all going to be bug fixing and polish and optimization. So now, basically, what any game company does is they're going to transition. Probably about 3/4 of the Kingdom Hearts team are now going right over to Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yep.
But with that in mind, yeah, we probably still won't see remake until 2019's optimistic, but probably 2020.
I wasn't expecting it, and I wasn't really disappointed that it didn't show up. I wasn't expecting it to come out soon anyway. Like you said, especially with Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, they're not gonna try and
No,
do
they would be
anything.
cannibalizing their own
Yeah.
content. Like that'd be stupid.
So Ubisoft is next.
Mhm.
I don't
Hooey.
remember that.
They opened up with Just Dance
Yep.
in that musical performance.
Yep.
Just
Colorful.
Yes.
I didn't watch much of that either. You guys are just gonna fill me in on
It
pretty
was.
much everything.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought Ubisoft really. It presented a lot of games that I was interested in. It's probably my bias towards it, but I don't know. I enjoyed it. I was not expecting to at all.
I think for me, like on an overall stroke, I thought Ubisoft was the best conference because it was
Really?
paced very fast. Like it was just like boom, 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 interesting thing after interesting thing. They had some good games. Overall, I'm gonna sneeze.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless up.
Thank you. Overall, like I thought it was the best conference, even though it didn't have the best games for me personally. I
Yeah.
thought it was the best conference to just sit down and watch.
Yep.
I can agree with that to a point. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, they opened up with Just Dance. They barely showed any gameplay, which is smart because Just Dance gameplay is boring as hell to look at. And the musical performance, other than going on too long, was fun. It was clowny. It was whatever.
It was different.
Yeah, it was different. But they immediately went from that into the hype train that is Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh yeah.
Looks so good.
The gameplay, I'm still like, they showed like maybe like 10, 15 seconds of gameplay. Not really sold on the gameplay yet, but hot damn, does that game visually look like a freaking movie? Like that is, I don't even know. Like that is, I would not be surprised if they said that's on the PS5 or something. Because like,
Yeah.
Jesus,
It
did not know the PS4 could do that.
looks like Blizzard cinematics. Just the game.
Yeah. It visually stunning. The cinematography, like assuming that same cinematography is throughout the whole game, like that is amazing. That is some movie level shit. The voice acting was amazing. Like everything about that looks amazing, but we saw so little gameplay that you still kind of have to wonder. And then they're doing that thing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt too, which a lot of people are actually upset about. Because there's a lot of concerns about rights and compensation, but the concept of like people being able to make stuff for a game and then it's actually in the game, like that's cool.
Also a good way to jumpstart a career. If for someone like getting their stuff actually in the game. Although you do have to worry about like all the right stuff and compensation like you were talking about. But I don't know. It's good exposure.
I'm just really excited about Trials,
Yes.
Assassin's Creed, sort of. I haven't gotten to the series for a while.
Yes.
Yeah, if we want to, I
about
keep
it.
blasting through the games. Trials was next after Beyond Good and Evil.
That game looks
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks
Trials
like
is
it.
great.
Yeah,
I've always
Trials
liked
play are fun.
Trials.
Yeah, they've amped it up to 8 players, and
That's
it
great.
sounds like they're even going more full on with the community support. Like Trials Evolution had some community tools, but they like kept emphasizing it, so it sounds like they're going really hard on that.
Good.
Hopefully, people can make stages now without any restrictions. Like they can just go to town.
Yeah,
Because that's definitely part of the game. When people can create their own lands and stages, your community just times 10 just goes crazy.
Mhm.
It's perfect for a game.
And that's hitting like almost every platform, which is cool too. Even Switch, which is big.
Damn.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
awesome.
But PC and all the other I like that. I like when games, because the Switch is pretty light on games. So I like when there's things announced that hit everything at the same time, and there's no ports or other bullshit. It's everything.
Yep.
Monster Hunter.
Division 2 is next. Yeah,
I'm so excited, but that's great. All right.
Division, yeah, there's Division 2 is next up from Ubisoft, and we already talked about it. It looks promising, but that's one of those things where it's same as Destiny and whatnot. It's like the kind of game you have to be playing it before you're gonna get a good feel for things. So then there is The Crew, which is like Liger's Gryphon.
Hell yeah.
They were talking about.
Fun times, man.
Mario Kart, but not Mario.
It's not quite. It's not that arcade.
I
Like,
feel
there's,
like it is.
It's not quite like there's a progression of like arcadeness. Like Mario Kart is the epitome of an arcade racer,
Okay.
and then like Forza Horizon is at the bottom of arcade racing, and Crew is like the middle,
between.
slanting towards Forza.
Yeah.
Like it's real world scenarios with real world esque, usually vehicles, but you're typically doing unrealistic thing. Like you're doing huge jumps. I think they've added where you can now hot swap vehicles on the fly. So like you could do a jump and then switch from a car to a plane and whatnot.
What the hell?
What?
Okay,
There's
I
planes?
need to see this.
Yeah.
I
I'm
just-
So
more excited now.
I think
Holy
The
shit.
Crew, it's a very simple premise.
Mhm.
I'm with Gryphon. Say we're in San Francisco. Hey, want to race to New York? And we just spend 3 hours that night just racing to New York for fun. That's the game.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
with all kinds of crazy like jumps
Yeah,
and
Jumps
valleys
and highways. Yeah.
and all these things you can set up, like you can, how long can you race in oncoming traffic before you crash, or blah blah blah, blah,
That's a fun one.
and you get rewarded for it though. Like that's the thing, like
Mhm.
you get rewarded with in-game points and currencies and
Mhm.
but if you're not a racing person, like there's nothing in here that's going to sell you on a racing game if you're not already into that.
True.
Which is definitely one of the biggest hurdles for racing games in general. Is it's so hard to get new people in. You're either already in or you're never going to be in there.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Definitely. Yeah.
Then the big thing after The Crew, though, which a lot of people are now hyped for, Skull and Bones.
Yes.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that
yeah.
game
Yeah.
is so
Caribbean
good.
Simulator.
Oh, like it just looks beautiful.
Not
It
only
does.
yeah, just like the depth of like, well, you saw you could customize your ship and like a bunch of other shit about that. The combat looks pretty fun. It looks a lot like
It's a little,
Assassin's Creed 4.
yeah, it's a little
but, like,
clowny,
still,
but
it's still good.
it's not
though.
like but it looks fun, and that's the
Yeah,
big selling
for
point.
sure.
Interested
And
to
then-
see how they incorporate the multiplayer aspect.
Yeah, the way.
That's what it is mostly, right?
Well, yeah, it's all multiplayer stuff.
But you all get your own ship.
But
you're,
yeah,
like, not sharing
It
a ship or
seems
something.
it seems like it's that way, to where it's like you're a fleet of ships, and rather than in Sea of Thieves or whatever, it's multiple people controlling one ship.
Yeah.
They definitely
And-
looked. They announced Skull and Bones a while ago, and I thought
Yeah.
that always looked
Last year.
better. Oh yeah, it looked better than
Last year.
Sea of Thieves to me.
Yeah.
Just yeah,
And-
I don't like the Sea of Thieves style for some reason.
So the big thing this year about Skull and Bones, because I was doing some reading up afterwards, is that what they showed off this year is actually a pretty big improvement. Because last year, it was only PvP that they were talking about, and they were pretty adamant that it was going to be a PvP game. But they took a
Okay.
lot of the feedback that they were getting, that people wanted more grand battles and to pirate with their friends, basically.
Yeah.
That they added. What we saw this year is all new stuff, like this whole PvE mode and like sailing with your friends to take on like super ships and whatnot. Like that was all added between last year and this year. And like I think it's good they did, because the game looks way more interesting now because of, like, I love the idea that and like Sea of Thieves, I was really hoping would add this, but they never really did. I love the idea that you can spawn in. Let's say there's like, you spawn into a map and there's like 10 people on your team. Like it's all of us on the podcast, other people on the Discord. We all spawn into this world, but
Mhm.
there's already like 20 or 30 NPCs sailing around that you can sync, and there's another 20 or 30 other players sailing around that you can sync. So it's just this like chaos of ships everywhere, and you're like maybe there's like missions or objectives that you can do, like, and it sounds like there are, like, you have like certain goals you want to achieve on the map, and while you're doing that, they're trying to sync you, you're trying to sync them, you're trying to sync the NPCs are just going about their business. It's on top of the game looking gorgeous, and Skull and Bones looks really damn good.
Oh, yeah. It's the pirate game that I want to play.
Yes.
And as Rocky's saying, the value in the history, like, you don't just have your generic Blackbeard leading crew. You've got your Nigerian pirates. You've got like Middle Eastern pirates. All kinds of different ships there. Roman, it's amazing. Japanese, it's crazy.
Oh, could you imagine like that they do the Roman DLC and you're just all in triremes and shit?
Oh my
like,
God.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm so optimistic about it. You know, there's concerns, like, is it going to be balanced? What's that going to be like? What's the progression going to be like? Because it is like, how much can you realistically do to a ship? Like, I don't know. So hopefully there's enough there to keep people playing, because that's obviously where Sea of Thieves has fallen off really hard. Is there's just not a lot there.
Damn.
But other than that, I'm very, very optimistic. After Skull and Bones was some less than stellar stuff. For Honor is basically getting Dynasty Warriors expansion.
Yep.
A bunch of Chinese,
yeah.
a bunch of Chinese warriors are being added. If you're a For Honor player, it sounds cool. If you're not, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot.
Nope.
But I guess maybe if you really want to play Guan Yu in For Honor, now you can.
Yep. That's good.
Then there's the Donkey Kong expansion for Rabbids.
Hey, that game, it's so strange, but it works. That's all I've heard about it. It just works. If you've ever played it, play it.
I heard it's a pretty good game. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
definitely
XCOM,
something
but
where
like Mario.
there's yeah,
Tactics
pretty much.
game.
Yeah. Well.
But,
If you ever loved Worms when you were like younger,
Worms.
play
love
that game.
Worms.
There you go.
what
Definitely
about
for you.
Assassin's Creed?
That was their
Okay.
last thing. So
Big word.
before Assassins was actually Starlink with
Star
Star
Fox.
Fox.
Oh, that was such a PogChamp.
I'm optimistic for that, but it's not my type of game, because I'm not interested in collecting because it's not only a game, you also collect real life figurines and whatnot,
Yeah.
that like amiibo style stuff. I have no interest in that. I'm so far removed from the collecting scene that that completely takes away from the game for me. But if that's your thing, if you like collecting stuff, then Starlink will be good. And the Switch version may be the definitive version, because it's got the Star Fox crossover. So I would have to be clear, Starlink is on multiple platforms. I highly doubt Nintendo agreed to let Star Fox be in the Xbox and PlayStation version.
That's fair.
It's another one of those like Skylander games with the
Skylanders.
I don't know who I was talking to. I think it might have been Dusty. I'm not sure, but like you were saying, the collecting thing is kind of meh for me. And I was like, we're talking about it, but like as a kid, I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
Skylanders is
for
cool.
sure.
Yeah, like Bionicles and like all the Transformers stuff that we had, like a fact of like freaking plug it into like a game. That'd be really cool.
If I could put my Pokemon cards into Pokemon Stadium.
Oh yeah, or that Pokemon. Even that.
They had that card reader.
They had
that card reader.
They had a game for. I mean, I think all the Yu-Gi-Oh games had it actually. There's like a little code at the bottom of your cards, and you can input those, and you can like
type it in.
and it would it would be like, oh, you have Dark Magician, and you type in your code, and it's like you'd have it in your deck in the game. But
That's
I mean,
cool.
with nowadays like
That's
internet,
really.
you can post like the code for your card, and you'd be able to get it, and then you'd have to make it unique to that card. It'd be a mess now, I think, but I don't know. Just having that kind of stuff is cool.
So then
and then Assassin's Creed is the finisher. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Assassin's fan. Like, I've played basically all of them, I think, except for Unity. And this one looks good. It's in Greece, which obviously a lot of people, of all of the ancient histories in the world, and like all the cultures, I guess is the better way to put it. I think Greece and Egypt are probably the most well known.
Yeah, and then
So they already nailed Egypt, and Assassin's Creed Origins, while I don't think perfect, I think was very, very good. Was exactly what Assassin's Creed needed to kind of bring itself into relevance again.
Yep.
Mhm.
And this one looks like they're just expanding on that in every way. And the Greek stuff looks great. They obviously are capitalizing on the Spartan imagery. There were several instances of people kicking dudes off of things,
Yeah.
which has become world famous since the 300 movie. So
Yes.
visually, the game looks stunning. My only complaint about Assassin's Creed games, and I said this on GB Stream, is that you don't feel like an assassin anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
I was talking
Um,
about it in voice chat a bit.
You're just a really, really good fighter. And that's not it. Like it's such a weird complaint because like if they literally labeled the game anything else, like probably be okay with it. But it's just like the heritage of this series is that you are supposed to be a stealthy assassin, not a Roman warrior running into battle, beating the shit out of people.
Yep.
But aside from that, you remove that one complaint, nothing but praise for what this new Assassin's Creed Odyssey is called.
Yeah.
What it
Mhm.
what it looks like.
I
I just saw the main character running around with like armor on and shit.
Yeah, it's
and
Spartan
I
armor
don't know
here.
if that's an assassin.
you're a Spartan,
Yeah.
not a assassin anymore. I mean, unless.
One.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, good. No.
Okay.
Go.
Well, I was like, well, this is just tinfoil hat, but like, unless you're an assassin, like sneaking into the Spartan organization for whatever reason. But I mean, that's. But yeah, I was saying that in the voice chat as well during the like release. I was like, well, even in Odyssey or not Odyssey, what was Origins, you kind of lose the feeling of an assassin and more of the feeling of like, kind of. What was the game? The Lord of the Rings game, the Shadows of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor?
Shadow of War.
Shadow of War, like those two games. So I kind of get that feel more of like than assassin, like stealthy, assassinate people thing, because it's less like, oh, let me try to take out this guy stealthily. Oh, it's like, oh well, I mean, there's like 4 people here, I can kill him. Like you never feel that danger of tackling like a bunch of people on it at the same time anymore, which lends to more of an actioning kind of game rather than a stealth game, because that's just how it went.
Yeah, and I don't know, and maybe that's what the series needed. It's just it feels disingenuous to what the franchise started as. That's all.
Yeah, I agree.
Because even in the older like Assassin's Creed 2 and onwards, like they had like a lot of multi-person combat, but even when it devolved into those big fights, you fought with a style that was very like you weren't really doing a whole lot of damage. Like it was counter, counter, counter.
Yeah.
And then when you did stab someone, it's like you stabbed them because you took their weapon and stabbed them, or you used your hidden blade and like grabbed their face and like poof, like you killed them that way. But now it's just like you just run in with your gladius and fucking impale the dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that.
Again, that's like one minor complaint out of what looks like a great game. Like they're adding the RPG system from Origins into Odyssey, and it's going to be expanded upon. You're going to have all kinds of new, like there's new weapons and stuff, new armor that's Roman and Greek aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
They're adding branching dialogue options that actually impact the world. So like you can actually have an influence now. It's not a set story anymore. I'm sure the main story is still going to play out the same way, but like you can meet people and interact with them in new ways, and which has obviously got the internet in a frenzy, because the other big thing is you can now pick a female character, which that's not like there was a female character in Syndicate. You could play as Evie. But the main thing is like there's romancing now in this, so the internet's obviously in a frenzy over the fact that you can have a lesbian assassin romancing all sorts of people around the world. Which, hey, all the power to you. That's fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are their? It's like Cassandra and I can't remember the guy's name because he's been getting so little. I can't remember.
Or something?
Yeah.
Maybe something. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they're adding a lot of new systems to it, and the game looks phenomenal. And I like the idea of the dialogue options having an actual impact because it connects you to the story. It makes it feel like you're actually like what you're doing makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Looks like a good game.
Does look like a good game. There's so many like games that I'm interested in trying out.
Yeah.
Rip money.
But just to end on with Assassin's Creed, I'm expecting them to have another trailer which reveals the assassin aspect. Like you meet someone who teaches you the ways of the assassin, but I hope they hide that for the game
Yeah.
and
Could be.
really like leave it as a reveal.
Yeah,
I
there's
just
I mean,
sorry.
minor spoilers, but that's what Origins did, right? Like, if you didn't play Origins, minor spoilers if you didn't play Origins, but like, it's called Origins for a reason because
Yeah.
the character in that game starts the creed. Like, he
Hey.
literally starts the creed.
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty
So-
cool.
This is set before Origins though. Sparta.
Supposedly this takes place before Origins, so you're
Hmm.
not an assassin at all. So in that regard, again, it makes more sense that you're just beating the shit out of people. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like, it's too bad like you're locked into the name Assassin's Creed because
Well, yeah,
It's-
they
guess
could
so.
they could end up playing it really interestingly now that you bring that up because like the story could lend itself to, I mean yeah the gameplay is gonna be what it is and they might have a good idea of how to rope that into the story. It could be really interesting actually. I didn't know that
Yeah.
about Origins because I haven't played it. I mean yeah from the name I could gather that much that he is the origin of it all. But yeah they could end up formulating the story into something that's actually lends itself to the Assassin's Creed world like pretty well, but we'll have to see.
And they should focus on the current timeline. They need to really get back to that
Yeah, they do.
as well. That's something.
They
people
kind of
want.
just like,
yeah,
it's like
whatever. We're just gonna
brush that
do it.
under the
Just
mat,
drop it.
just like that
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
happen.
to
I feel
to answer something Rocky said in chat, because I think it's actually important to touch on, even though I think everyone here knows this, is there has also been like a bit of a, because it's the internet, people saying like, why is there a female assassin running around romancing people? And Rocky apparently didn't realize this, but the idea of being like gay and homosexual way back then, Rocky, like that was totally cool with most of them. Like it's one of those things where it's just like, you don't ask, we don't tell, but you do whatever the fuck you want back then.
Yeah,
Like literal Roman emperors were flamboyantly sleeping with other men or women with other women. Like that only became a stigma with the rise of other things, not
yeah,
it wasn't an issue back then. So the idea of like the female assassin acting that way, that's very in line with the times.
History.
Now, I don't know historically if a female Spartan would do that. I have no idea what like Spartan culture was like. I thought all they did was beat the shit out of each other, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't have like relations were frowned upon because then you like you take away from like the cause. You
Yeah,
start
I
thinking
thought
more
they-
for yourself.
yeah, I thought Spartan culture was very strict in the idea of romance and families and whatnot, but
Yeah,
they're obviously not typical Spartans either.
Yeah, right.
Like, so it's hard to say. Like, are they descendants? Or is it even in? Like, have they confirmed if it's even in Sparta, or are they just Spartan descendants? Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
we'll have to find out.
Well, we know they addressed Athenians, so they could be.
Yeah, they were
Maybe,
talking about
yeah.
Athens. So,
So yeah.
but anyways, we've talked a lot about
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
it's enough, yeah.
This podcast is like 5 hours long.
It's fine.
No, we can keep going.
Overall, though, I guess to finish thing, I'm very excited for Assassin's Creed. I think
Mhm.
everything that I saw makes me excited for that game.
Yeah.
And if
Let's
it's
go
just
Skull
if
and
it's
Bones.
more Odyssey but in Greek land, awesome,
Mhm.
awesome.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ubisoft. You did good.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
You did it good. They did it good.
I'm excited.
So this moves us into the Sony conference, which
Oh,
so starts off very strong. Last of Us 2.
Yep.
damn.
They had the
Yes.
guy come out, Gustavo something.
Playing the banjo, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's playing a banjo. He played the theme
Banjo-Kazooie.
song. Yeah, he played Banjo Kazooie.
Really?
Last of Us 2 looks stunning.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were taken aback by how graphic it is, which I'm not against the idea of there necessarily being like intense violence because like let's be honest, like the world they're in is fucked up. It was a little strange how gratuitous it was. Like it almost reminded me of Gears of War at some points. Like I don't know if that one man necessarily needed to have to blow up into giblets.
Mm.
But I thought like the game looked stunning. The voice acting and the characters looked amazing because not every game company does this, but Naughty Dog goes the full mile with their their mocap. Like it's all mocap. They mocap everything. So like all the Ellie stuff is Ashley Johnson in the
Yes.
full mocap suit, like everything. They go all the way with their mocap. Not every game company does that, so that's why like her actions, all the cutscenes look so good because it's literally her on a dance floor dancing with someone else in a mocap suit. Probably looks clowny as shit when there's two mocap people dancing together, but it translates very well in the game. Gameplay wise, though, it just looks more like more Last of Us, but that's fine because there was no issue with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
My only negative about what we saw is, for me, again, I don't really connect a whole lot with characters. I wanted to see more of the monsters and the world, which we didn't see a whole lot of.
Yeah.
So like, has the because it's clearly in the future, at least 5 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
So like, has the virus changed at all, or has there been mutations? Are there more immune people? Like, surely Ellie's not the only one. Like, what's that? That's where my interests lie. So I want to see more of that.
Yeah,
All story
it's
stuff.
certainly interesting because like the way they had the trailer is that they were dancing on the floor. She was like that line she said triggered like her memory, and it seemed like you were playing her memories.
Yeah.
So it makes me want to believe that like civilization has kind of moved on a bit, and maybe I don't know. There's a lot of speculation. I don't want to get too far into it, but
I mean, the idea that Ellie is able to go to a dance
Right.
of size, like there is a lot of people there, implies that there is some sort of settlement community and that Ellie is well known in the area, and someone refers to Ellie's dad, which pretty much has to be Joel,
Yep.
even though we don't see him. So Joel's still alive.
yeah.
Yeah, so like,
Ooh.
has society rebuilt a little bit? Are they at the dam where Joel's brother was living? Like, is that where that took place? Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. There's a lot of speculation stuff, but it certainly is interesting. And
I don't have much to say about Last of Us.
yeah, I never played it
What
myself.
about you,
but-
Liger?
I liked watching it. I played myself. What is my answer for everything?
Well, I mean, it's not a necessarily bad thing. Like, if you
I
don't
mean,
play
no.
many games.
Combat wise, just watching that combat, the smoothness of it, the stealthy nature of it, I feel like I was watching Assassin's Creed. Like, what's going on? They swapped.
Yeah, they swapped.
The way she was moving, the way she was playing, the shot she took under the truck, because we were screaming like, "Why is no one looking under the truck?" And then we realized why. They were saving it for that moment.
Yeah.
Like, they're really good at like breaking it down realistically. Like you said, everything's mocap. Like, that's sort of how a situation like that would play out. Like, that room, it was dark. She could duck behind those stands and she could go around, and she's being like realistic in those life and death situations. Yes, you're gonna go for the killing blow. You're not gonna just punch someone. Just gonna throw an axe at your face. You deserve it. So I do respect that the game's like going all out. It's a survival game. She's going in for the kill. There's no mercy. She has to survive. And she's been through a lot, as we know, through the entirety of the last game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It looks good. It looks really good. Obviously, that's exclusive. So if you plan to play it, you're gonna have to get a PS4.
Yeah.
They didn't talk at all, obviously, about any sort of multiplayer. Last of Us 1 did have multiplayer that people enjoyed, but they haven't talked about that.
That's not what people talk about though when they talk about Last
Yeah.
of Us.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't even know it had multiplayer.
Overall, though, very excited. I would like to see more of the other part of the story of the monsters and the virus and
how
life.
that's been going.
But Ellie is the obvious selling point. Like, so they wanted to really showcase her. Now, with that said, the presentation of this trailer was terrible. The idea of putting all those people into a hall just to make it more atmospheric and then have a 15-minute break while you moved all those people.
And that's
what a way to instantly kill any hype for that game, because that was so fucking boring.
Yeah, that was.
And then they cut to like a meaningless like dialogue about stuff you were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that was so bad. That was so bad.
It's painstakingly bad.
Yeah, I would like. Where was Andrew then with some music? Like,
Yeah, seriously.
Like it was. I understand 100% that they were really trying to sell the atmosphere, but then they should have just committed and like left everyone in there, because that pause just it just diminished all the hype that they had built up.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the conference was still very strong afterwards. It's just that 15 minutes of like, what are you guys doing,
Yeah.
please? But they quickly move on. They got to the new conference hall and they showed Ghost of Tsushima, which is
Yep.
an action adventure game with samurais. Supposedly also ninjas. Apparently, your main character basically has two paths. He has the path of the samurai, the path of the ninja.
Ooh.
That's great. That's
But
accurate.
this is, yeah, a lot of people are equating this to like Samurai Souls, which that's a little, it's not the best representation. It does have a slower, more methodical pace of combat, but I would almost attribute it more to a Ninja Gaiden style or Neo style of combat.
Yeah.
This doesn't look as punishing or as grueling as a Dark Souls style game. And they've also firmly said several times, they were emphasizing this, there are no monsters. This is real world samurai and ninja stuff. There is
That's pretty
not
cool.
mythological demons or any of that Japanese and Chinese culture represented here. This is all real world.
I'd say
Political.
Shadows Die
That's what I
Twice is more like Samurai Souls rather than
Yeah,
Ghost of
Shadows
Tsushima.
Die Twice. Yeah, for sure. But this game looks stunning. Like, like visually was like that fight scene, and then like the wind started blowing and leaves were flying around, and like painstaking detail done. Absolutely stunning.
Is this also an exclusive?
I
is it-
don't think they said, but I would be surprised if it's not. Because I think this is being done by Sucker Punch.
Okay,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of samurai games this year. There's like 4 of them.
That's kind of good because it's been a while since there's been a good samurai ninja game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that came that weird game called Control. It's being done by the Alan Wake people. I adore Alan Wake. It's one of my favorite games ever made. I did not play Quantum Break, but now we're getting Control. So, yay.
Yeah, I guess.
There wasn't a lot to show. Like, it was just a woman walking around with a gun that was like breathing. And it looks like she has superpowers because she was like using telekinesis and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about that either.
Yeah. Remedy does really good stuff, so I'm optimistic Control will be good, but we'll just have to wait and see. Then the big thing for me, so as if Devil May Cry wasn't already big enough, I can't believe that something could surpass Devil May Cry. But Resident Evil 2 remake,
you were screaming.
Let me
you were screaming.
tell you what I was, because I thought this was years away, to be honest. I did not expect this to not only get announced and be for less than, like, I think it's like 8 months from now. I am so fucking, like, I am a huge Resident Evil fan. I've played all of them. Literally every Resident Evil I have played. And I've got like probably 1,000+ hours in the whole franchise. And Resident Evil 2 is my favorite one. Like, that is the one that I grew up on RE2. I missed the boat on RE1, but RE2 was my shit for years. I played it to death, 100% of the game as hard as I could. Absolutely adored it. And I've been waiting for a remake like a lot of other RE fans since they did the remake of Resident Evil 1 like 7 or 8 years ago now. And the fact that, like, so they're remaking this using the RE7 engine. So it looks beautiful. And I think that's how they were able to save a lot on the dev time, because this has only been in development for like a year and they're already cranking out like a finished product.
Damn, that's crazy. It looks really good though, for sure.
It looks stunning. It's an actual remake, so they're not one for one recreating the game. They are taking like parts of the game and they're changing it. Puzzles are being changed, but the overall scenario is still the same. You're still playing Leon, you're still playing Claire. The overall plot is still the same, but it's just like how you get to that destination is being changed. Like everything about this is like screaming that they have taken the fans' advice, and it looks beautiful. It looks stunning. Like I can't say enough. I would be here for hours. I am so excited. I am so excited that literally every day since it's been announced, I've woken up and watched another YouTube video about it just to see if like there's something I've missed.
So this is your E3 game of the year. Yeah.
Game of the show, yeah.
Game of
like
the show, yes.
for sure. Like I thought it was gonna be Devil May Cry until Resident Evil was shown off.
Yeah. The only thing that really
Um,
stood out to me in the Sony conference was Spider-Man, I think.
There we
and
go.
Yeah, that was their last game. The next two,
Oh,
so they only have 3 games left after Resident Evil. There's Death
Mm-hmm.
Stranding, which they didn't show anything, so I don't know if there's anything to talk about. The game visually looks beautiful, but other
Yeah.
than that, we don't know anything about
Yeah,
it.
what the? I was just still confused as much as the first time, honestly.
Yeah, and then we had a very small teaser trailer for Neo 2, which isn't
Oh, yeah.
surprising because Neo sold surprisingly well, I think. I think even they are stunned by how well it sold. And then the final game was Spider-Man.
Hold on. They did show new Kingdom Hearts stuff, which freaking I was amazed.
That's true.
Parts of the Caribbean.
Hell yeah.
Jack Sparrow.
hell yeah.
Real world Sora looks really
yeah,
strange.
no, like the graphics, like how they translated like Sora and like the Pirates of the Caribbean people for that, it looked amazing. I was just, holy crap, this looks like the way you were with Resident Evil. That's how I was with Pirates of the Caribbean stuff for for Kingdom Hearts, and that's all I got to say because it was amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, for sure.
great.
But yeah, Spooderman.
Spider-Man. They showed a lot of Spider-Man, actually. It was like
Good.
good solid 15-20 minutes of gameplay, I thought. Or is that
Wait,
just-
well,
Great.
the game does come out in like 3 months, so it's essentially done. Like
Yeah.
they are it's the same as Kingdom Hearts. They are in bug and polish phase.
Uh-huh.
We've already seen a lot of Spider-Man as well, so like I don't think we saw anything crazy. Like I'm sure there's some new story beats that are new and whatnot, but the combat is it's very like Batman Arkham franchise style combat. Like it's same as Shadows of War and whatnot. But a lot
Animation stuff
faster.
looked really good. Like
Yeah,
all the stuff that he does is like
he's
like, yeah,
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
right?
does that. Yeah, that's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
Exactly.
In all those other games, you tend to play someone who's very brutal and hulking. Like in the Lord of the Rings games, like that guy is he's pretty fast, but like he's still just a guy that's a human doing sword combat. Batman is a very hulking individual, and all his stuff is very like brutal and like it has impact. Spider-Man is just like beat bopping off the walls and like
Exactly.
Oh,
zippity
wait, it's
zoops
Timbuktu.
off. Yeah, like it's.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that impact, but his is speed and mobility. So like you're all over the place, and that looks really
There's
fun.
no walking into walls with him. You're vaulting over walls just naturally. You're climbing around.
Yeah.
You're swinging around them. All
Yeah,
kinds of
it
things.
looks so
The
good.
environment is his battleground. There's no
Yeah.
obstacle for him. He
And
uses
the-
everything.
And the important part, the web swinging or
Hell
slinging,
yes.
like, looks
They
so
finally
good.
went back to it.
Yeah. it
Open
looks good.
world Spider-Man. Just enjoy it. Just swing around. There's no goal. Just swing around and enjoy yourself. That's the most important thing in a Spider-Man game.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's I pre-ordered that a while ago, but that's just looks good.
Definitely.
I like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And then their big thing at the end was obviously like they showed off that fight scene where Spider-Man's getting his ass kicked because all the villains are like beating up on him.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the
Yeah.
big surprise of like, oh, you came or whatever he says. A lot of people at first thought it was Venom, but the company making the game confirmed that there's no symbiotes in the game, so it can't be
Mhm.
Venom. I thought it was the lizard because you hear like a hissing sound, and the way Spider-Man like the way he says his line implies that he knows the person.
Okay.
So I thought it was lizard because you hear some like loud like walking sounds, and the lizard's pretty hefty, right? But a lot of people are now thinking it's the Green Goblin, mostly because of the fact now they're equating the hissing sound to the hissing of like a machine, so like the Goblin's glider engines,
Yeah,
whereas
maybe.
I thought it sounded more like the hissing of a voice.
Hmm.
But what they pointed out that I initially didn't see is that when just as Spider-Man starts talking, some lights shine on him. So it could
Okay.
be that it could be
His
the
glider.
headlights of a glider, yeah.
Mhm.
And obviously, depending on the universe and like the timeline for Spider-Man, he would or would not know the Green Goblin is Norman Osborn, or it could be Harry.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's not like Doc Ock or something.
it's definitely not Doc Ock. I would wager it's either Lizard or the Goblin.
Tony
Yeah.
Stark. It's Tony Stark. It's
Oh,
Iron
they've
Man.
confirmed Avengers Tower is in the city, which is nice.
Who?
So
Probably
you can
just
go
the Easter
swing
egg or
around,
something.
say hi to the Avengers. I really do hope they, if you guys have ever played Spider-Man Web of Shadows, which was all symbiote, so I understand why they're leaving it out this time, because we've had our symbiote feel. I really hope they incorporate meeting other heroes and doing missions with them. Like you had
Yeah.
Wolverine and Moon Knight in that
That'd
game.
be so cool.
I hope they bring people.
I don't think they are. I think this is only Spider-Man.
I can
The way
see
they
why,
just for a little side mission.
I know what you're saying. I like there might be allusions to other heroes. I'd be really surprised because I think the way they've been talking about this is they want to stay as far removed from the Avengers as they can.
Mhm.
Like
Well, not
they've
necessarily Avengers, just like New York heroes. Like you've had Luke Cage before, you know, Harlem, things like that. It could help.
no, yeah, no, for sure. I think where they're coming from is they want this to just be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think because
fair
I think
enough.
that's part of the reason why they didn't put in the symbiotes because Venom just carries too much weight with him.
Yeah.
Like there's just too much history with Venom that like if you put him in, it takes too much away from Spider-Man and it becomes about Venom.
I get you.
I would almost be surprised if because of that they don't even put the symbiote suit in.
Mhm.
Like they just stay clear of that because like for me personally, like I'm not a big Spider-Man person. If I knew Venom was in the game, that would get me way more interested in it because I like Venom more than I like Spider-Man.
I see.
Mhm.
I think they're doing their best to stay away from that, but maybe maybe they'll put in some of the more like
Yeah.
underground heroes like
Yeah,
Daredevil. Like
that's
Daredevil and Spider-Man have a
exactly.
lot of history
Yeah.
together.
That's what I mean. I
So-
want someone that it seems realistic that be in New York, not like I need help from Iron Man. No, like someone.
And
who's
this is also a slightly alternate universe too, so it could be a different take on Daredevil or because they've also confirmed Miles Morales is in the game. He's just they haven't said if he is Spider-Man up or not yet.
Mhm.
interesting.
So
So
it could also
that's pretty much, yeah.
it could be like a Spideyverse sort of scenario where you're just taking orders from other Spider-Men.
Ooh, that'd be very interesting.
But
Well, I think
that was
that's
it for
pretty
the
much
Sony
it.
showing.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh.
I thought so was good. Other than that thing that you mentioned in the beginning, just the
The-
games that they had were
Yeah.
great.
They took the Square Enix approach, which is new for them.
Mhm.
They as soon as they got to the conference hall, it was just game, like 10-second break, game, 10-second break, game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I thought it worked out well for them because a lot of what they showed off didn't need explaining.
Mhm.
Whereas I think Ubisoft, a lot of the games they were talking about warranted some explanation.
Yeah.
So overall, like Sony is right up there with Ubisoft for me. If you cut out that 15-minute complete shit, it was really good. And then that brings us into the final day,
Yes. The
which
final-
is the technically not a conference. This was just a Nintendo Direct, but it's the E3
Damn
Direct,
right.
so it's
yes. Still relevant. Very relevant.
there's a whole bunch of games, but they started off with one called Demon Machina X, which is like just it looks like Gundam the game.
Mhm.
So Liger, that maybe is up your alley.
Gundam, I've heard of it.
since you like giant robots fighting each other.
Oh yeah. I'm very, very disappointed we heard nothing about the Zoids game. Very disappointed.
I don't.
We were
I've
told
never
we were
heard
confirmed
anything
that
about it.
No,
if
there's nothing.
they said a TV show was in development with a Switch game.
Oh, okay.
I was
see.
expecting something, but we got nothing. But it's understandable because it doesn't matter. We get 4 directs a year. Nintendo
Yeah.
doesn't need E3. Everyone's like when people say Nintendo won E3. In my opinion, maybe with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey they won, but this year no. They held back a lot.
I see.
Like I want to get the bad out of the way before I get to the good of Nintendo. No Metroid Prime 4 news.
Mhm.
That's
Which is not surprising. It sucks, but it's not surprising because they admitted last year when they showed that teaser that Prime was only entering pre-development. Like
yeah,
that game is
damn.
still years away. Years away.
exactly. But that's the problem. They keep announcing things so early on and disappointing us for so
It's
long.
because they don't have any games.
That's it. That's the big problem. They don't have anything.
I was
But
gonna.
everyone says Nintendo won.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that a bit when we get to the end. But
Anyways, yeah, the Makana game. Looking forward to that. I will definitely pick it up and try it out.
it looks cool. I have nothing else to say beyond it looks cool. So
That's a lot of Nintendo. Everything just looks cool.
yeah, the next game was the Xenoblades DLC. So like Xenoblades and its spin-off franchise Xenoblade Chronicle, like they're just hardcore JRPGs. Like they are the hardest core of JRPGs. So if that's your jam, then the DLC is going to be right up your alley.
Beautiful games. Great story. Lots of fan service for whoever wants it, but it's there.
Then the Pokemon Let's Go games, which we've already seen a lot of. They're essentially watered down versions of Red and Blue.
Exactly.
There's
With,
less
Pokemon Go integration and shit.
It's a gateway.
It's basically you are replaying Red and Blue, but they've removed most of the combat, most of the progression, the TM stuff, items, all that. It's all been watered down to the point where you just basically walk through the world and you catch Pokemon Go style. There are a couple like changes, like there's no random encounters. You now see the Pokemon, you walk up to it and throw the ball. There's no like fade away to the battle scenes. They are still saying there's going to be battles, but it's only going to be trainer v trainer. So there probably will still be gym battles, the Elite Four, yada yada.
Yeah.
And there is still progression, but there's no like min maxing. There's no IV, EV, the stats and all that. Like none of that matters anymore. It's very watered down. It's very casual. This is more of the game for either like for kids or if you're just a Pokemon Go fan and you're not really into the RPG side of Pokemon, that's for you. Or if you just like if you're the kind of person who doesn't even care about the game, you just like collecting shit, like this is for you. Because this is literally just collect the Pokemon, the game.
Yep. If you love Pokemon, like the games, you buy them all, this game is not for you. Just remember that. It's literally a gateway game to bring back more players. Because Nintendo's already announced they've got that main title game coming on Switch. A main title Pokemon game on their main console is big. And that's confirmed for next year. So that's the game for you. This is literally trying to build up the fan base and work them up to it. So if people like this game and say, I want the next game, they're going to jump into the real thing next year. So they're just trying to take it step by step.
And the integration part is a huge part of that. Like they're trying to get people off the phone and onto the Switch.
Yep, definitely.
Because you can transfer Pokemon from Go into the Switch game and vice versa.
And also on top of that, just Nintendo as a whole, they've won the handheld market. There's no PSP anymore. Their only problem is mobile. So if, as you said, they're trying to pull people away from mobile, if they successfully do that, then they've really understood how to like play the game of this, marketing world in terms of like consoles and things like that. They took themselves out of the console race, but they found another area where they can dominate and no one is contesting them, which is nuts. And I'm very, very happy they finally, they didn't show anything about the 3DS. They've accepted the fact they need to go full force with the Switch.
I've been saying that for a long time. They should have killed the 3DS years ago.
It's still great. It sold better than anything else. But like, it had no competition and it's had its time. Focus on the Switch.
I agree with that.
Yeah, same.
After that was Mario Party, which was their first big announcement.
Oh my word, it looks so good.
Oh man.
But does it look good enough for you to get a Switch?
No, but it's
No.
I'm excited to at least see some gameplay of it, like when it comes out. I don't know. I've always been a fan of Mario Party, and to see it continue is nice.
It's been a while since I've played a Mario Party game. Like I swear, the last time I played was like 4 or 5.
It's understandable. The last couple were bad. They were actually bad and not
that,
fun.
Yeah, none of my friends bought them or like played them really.
I've heard that reverberated from the Mario Party community that like this one looks like a return to form. Like it looks like they are going back to the Mario Party like 3, 4, 5 era.
That's good.
Where it's just you, it's you, some friends on a board game playing mini games.
And ruining friendships since 1990, I don't know when. That's the whole point.
Like 95, I think was the first one.
I feel like it. Yeah, sounds about right. On the Nintendo 64,
I had that.
We'll buy it. We'll play it.
definitely. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you're not, when you're looking at like a Mario Party, it's like you're not looking so much at the gameplay, you're not looking at the graphics, you're just like, I see some cool mini games, I see it's on a board, it's multiplayer. My only concern with that, they showed off multiplayer, they not once spoke about online multiplayer. Little worried.
Mm,
Yeah.
Nintendo not a big fan of the online, and even when they are, it barely works half the time. So like that,
Yeah.
Mario Party is a 100% purchase for me if there is an online play.
Hmm.
If there isn't, I'm not even going to remotely consider it because there's no
Yeah.
point. There's no point.
I get you. It's hard to
I get
get everybody together to play a Mario Party game.
I mean, you have to have friends to begin with, and that's like the
That's
hardest
tough,
part.
yeah.
If you don't have friends,
That's the hardest part about it.
in Nintendo, if you don't have friends or family, you're just playing Breath of the Wild. That's all that you're gonna enjoy, really.
Mhm.
Maybe Mario Odyssey, but yeah.
So after Mario Party was their next big announcement was Fire Emblem, which was
Ooh.
heavily rumored, but this was the first official confirmation that yes, there is a main title Fire Emblem, not a spin-off, a main title Fire Emblem coming
On
to
the
Switch.
Switch. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
mind you, the last Fire Emblem title on a console was GameCube. And this is big.
Yeah,
Big
it's been a
news.
long time. So it looks exactly like you would expect. I did comment on stream that like I was a little underwhelmed by the graphics. I was expecting more. It just because like the battlefields and stuff looked a little bare, like like there wasn't much to them. But overall, like the gameplay and everything still looks like it's very Fire Emblem, and I'm still excited to play it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I hope so. I hope it's performed right because what we know from Fire Emblem previously, it was almost a dead franchise until it got a lucky break on the, I believe, 3DS with Fire
Yeah.
Emblem Awakening.
The 3DS
it's
really invigorated that franchise. Yeah.
It saved it, and Fire Emblem's been around since Game Boy. It's a long-standing one, maybe even earlier than that. So definitely seeing it come back onto console is a good sign for the fans as well.
Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem's a tactics type game.
Yes, a hardcore tactics game.
Mhm.
Death is permanent in those games.
Yes.
You can, the decisions you make. The first Fire Emblem was on the NES in 1990. That you can actually like put yourself in an unwinnable situation in tactics or in Fire Emblem.
That's pretty shitty. But
Uh,
yeah,
It's very
it's-
normal. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very
because
normal for someone
they're
to say they haven't won. It's very normal for someone to say they haven't finished a Fire Emblem game. It's very normal.
yeah.
But it's like you still loved it. Yeah.
It's unforgiving in that regard. They did add in the last couple Fire Emblems like a easier mode where death isn't permanent, but even still, you can still make decisions that are going to put you in a very difficult spot because leveling in that game, like you can't in Fire Emblem, you can't simply just grind levels without negatively impacting other parts of the game. Depending on which Fire Emblem you're playing, but there's no easy way to just grind up a bunch of characters. So like you can still fuck yourself up if you don't level a decent enough party by the end of the game.
That's-
But yeah, Fire Emblem. I forget what it's called. It's like the three
Three
something?
houses.
Three houses.
I think it's because recently the game has gone more decision based, where your choices dictate the story.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really leaning into that this time. They're like, look, from just the title, there's going to be 3 different factions. You're going to be pulled in every direction, but whatever you choose, and it's going to be heart-wrenching dealing with the other 2 because you've betrayed them or decided to fight against them. And guaranteed, there's going to be a choice where you choose none of them and you're fighting all of them just to be like that difficult. They've always made it that way.
Mhm.
Like you can be evil, you can be good, you can be neutral, or you can just be a complete badass and take everyone on.
Never played Fire Emblem, so
I haven't either.
Do you even play tactics games? Are they?
It's turn-based.
they're not away from like what I like. It's just I guess I don't have the patience for them. I don't hate them. I just know I just normally don't play them. I tried getting into XCOM and that kind of I was like whatever. I played like Advance Wars on my Game Boy Advance. That's very old.
I mean, that is still a tactics game. It's a very simplistic tactics game. But,
yeah, I never delved much into the genre. But yeah.
After Fire Emblem, this is when they started that highlight reel of like 20 different games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just kind of blast through them because a lot of it's just ports that are very bleh. The first one, though, the famous one, Fortnite. So Fortnite, they showed it off. It's already out on Switch. But the controversy around Fortnite is that for whatever reason, money, Fortnite accounts that have already been linked to PlayStations cannot play on the Nintendo Switch.
Of course.
Sony is blocking access. It's actually, some people thought it was Nintendo at first, but it turns out it's Sony. If you link an Epic account to a PlayStation account, it is permanently linked to PlayStation. They will not allow it to be played.
You can't
on
unlink
another
it.
platform. You can't, even if you unlink it, that association is still recorded, and it still won't work.
That is pretty shitty.
So so as if that's not bad enough, the consequence of this will now be that Fortnite on the Switch is essentially dead. It's not going to gain any ground because no one's going to want to restart their Fortnite experience.
I connected my Fortnite stuff to the Switch, but I don't play it on PS4, so that I guess that didn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I guess, but
it's unfortunate because Fortnite on the Switch, a lot of people were excited because like while you're on the train, play like a 15-minute Fortnite match or something, like cool. Yeah, it's that essentially kills Fortnite on the Switch.
I know a lot of youth in my community. They definitely play on their phones and tablets, but they've all had Switches, but their parents won't let them get like PlayStations or Xbox. So they're glad. They're like, yes, I can play on like something proper with a controller. They're not touching the screen anymore, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing what Sony has done, and this is not new, like, isn't it? This is even a problem with Rocket League. Sony doesn't like partnering up with even Microsoft as well. They're like, nope, you can't play together.
The reason they do this, it's a perfectly legitimate business reason. It's because they're winning the console race.
Yep.
So they have zero incentive to open up the platform. If they were losing to Xbox, they would be the ones preaching for online play to be open, the way Microsoft and Nintendo are. But Sony's winning. They have no reason to, because if they open up online play, then you can technically play on other platforms with your Sony friends, and they don't want that. So from a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense. But after Fortnite came Overcooked. So, I mean, it's more Overcooked, but now online. The big thing was, like, it said it right in the trailer, now online. That was the big thing they fucked up on the first one. It was only local co-op. Now it's online co-op. Then there was Killer Queen Black, which is a battle arena game. Kind of like, I don't know, those battle arena games out there.
What do you mean?
There was one.
It's like battle, right?
Well, it's 2D. It's on a 2D plane, not 3D. But yeah, like you're essentially a bunch of heroes trying to get honey for your hive while defending the hive, and there's other enemy heroes in this arena trying to get honey for their hive while defending.
I gotcha.
After that came Hollow Knight, which is just a port. Octopath Traveler, which we've already seen. Starlink, which we've already seen. Arena of Valor, which is a mobile game, like League of Legends game. Minecraft update. We did more Mario shit. Sushi Strikers, which is some like food game. Like it was like a 10. I don't really know. It was like a 10-second snippet of like sushi being like made. I don't know.
It's like a mini game, something to play for fun.
Yeah. There was the Mario Rabbids, the Donkey Kong expansion again.
We saw
PixARK, which is just Ark Survival Evolved, but a pixel version of that. It's coming out. Just Dance, which is no surprise. Dragon Fighter Z, which was Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which was announced months ago. Splatoon 2 expansion. Captain Toad is getting a port to the
Captain Toad.
The Switch, the Wii
Wait,
version.
That was on the Wii U?
Yeah.
I did. I just thought that was on Switch. Oh, okay.
The Crash Bandicoot trilogy is coming to Switch, but that's not a surprise. It's coming to everything now.
Xbox as well.
Yep, and PC too. Ninjala, not quite sure what that game's about. It was again like another 10-second piece. I kind of missed it.
I heard of that, no?
Carcassonne, the board game,
Oh,
is coming to Switch.
Carcassonne. What? I missed that.
Which is also Carcassonne has also recently come to PC in VR form. Couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
FIFA 18 and 19 are coming to Switch.
That's pretty crazy, actually.
Ark Survival Evolved coming to Switch, which
Oh god.
that is an infinite amount of red flags. Like Ark runs like ass on
Yeah.
PC.
It runs at 1 frame a second on your
Yeah.
Switch. Have fun
So-
with that.
Mm.
And like I bet you that game's running at like 480p just to even work. So don't play it on the
yeah,
Switch
yeah.
if you are. Wasteland 2, which is a tactics game set in a Fallout style universe.
Mhm.
It's very good, but again, tactics game, so that's not for everyone. Paladins, Champions of the Realm.
Paladins
favorite
is
game.
great.
Paladins.
Yeah.
Alright, Griff.
That opens
Good
up an
sarcasm.
avenue. Paladins, maybe the game's not good, but that opens up an avenue for a proper Royale game to eventually come on the Switch.
Well, no, this
Which
is
is
not the
normal.
Royale
yeah,
Paladin.
it's the Overwatch.
No, I'm
This
saying
is-
it opens up the engine. The engine
That's
is there.
true.
It
Well,
opens up
this
the chance
also
for-
this opens just up the idea of that kind of shooter being on the Switch. This is the first
Yeah.
hero-based shooter to like. There's no Overwatch yet or anything like
There's
that on
no MOBAs,
Switch.
yeah, exactly.
So this is the first one. And Paladins is free to play on PC. I don't know if they'll maintain that on Switch or if there will be some small buy-in cost.
Mhm.
My
Probably
biggest
the
concern,
online stuff.
yeah, it could be. My biggest concern with anything multiplayer on a Nintendo console is that
Yeah.
it's traditionally really shitty.
Also, they're gonna have their new service later, right?
Yeah, but it's dirt cheap. It's like $30 a year. So
Oh,
yeah.
but can it be shitty though as well?
Yeah, Ken,
Yeah.
that's like Nintendo is universally had bad online infrastructure for every game. Even their staples like Mario Karts was rough. Smash on the Wii U was rough. The only one they've really nailed was Splatoon. Splatoon 2 had a pretty good online
Yes.
infrastructure.
Yeah, I've
Mm.
heard.
But I heard you
So-
can't play with friends. So how does that work?
Well, because there isn't an official friends system yet, since the online infrastructure, like the paid thing, isn't up yet. But
Yeah, true.
anyways, moving on. Fallout Shelter, which I guess that's nice. The Dark Souls remaster, which I pointed out on the GB stream that this was already supposed to be out. It got delayed
Oh, I didn't
due
know
to
that.
technical reasons. So I don't know why they would show off a delayed game. I guess just reminding us. Then the big one for probably at least Ray here is the Monster Hunter Generations Extreme.
What? On the Switch?
Yeah, they had a
This is not Monster Hunter
No,
World.
it's not.
This is
Okay,
Generations.
yeah, no, still.
they had a Monster Hunter for the Wii U. That was the first.
Yeah.
That was the first online Monster Hunter, like well for console rather.
Yeah.
So
I might have to look into that.
so now they have this one, but man, Monster Hunter World needs to come out on PC.
Yeah, need my fix for Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, they didn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Generations. From what I know of the Monster Hunter community, Generations was a very well received one.
Mhm.
So now it's getting like a definitive edition port to the Wii or to the Switch. So
Mhm.
that's good. Wolfenstein 2. That's not new. We already knew that was coming. A game called The World Ends With You. I don't know a damn thing about it.
That's from the Game Boy, actually. Is that a sequel or is it just
I
like?
don't know.
Okay, I'll look into it.
And then Mega Man 11, which we knew more Mega Man was coming, so that's cool. That's probably going to hit all platforms, though. Mario Tennis, which comes out in like 2 weeks, 1 week.
Yeah,
it's like 2 weeks.
2-3 weeks. This is big
And-
though.
Yeah, Mario Tennis is a big deal. It's one of the oldest Mario sports franchises. I think Mario Tennis and Mario Golf or Mario Strikers.
Definitely Mario Strikers, golf, and tennis. There was a sports mix, but that didn't really land well on the Wii. But the Mario sports genre is very big, and it's like surprisingly seeing Mario Tennis, because we had Mario Ultra Tennis like a year or two ago, and that flopped. So seeing tennis come back again for another try is really good.
And then
And,
obviously after tennis, Smashy Bros.
The big one, the
Okay.
big boy.
Promised
Yes.
promised someone that I wouldn't smash the table, but freaking Smash Brothers is finally back.
God.
Okay. been waiting 4 or 5 years for this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here's the big problem. All right, it's like 68 characters.
What's
Smash
wrong with
Brothers.
that?
Okay, anyway, it's fine. It's good. Smash Brothers is great. It wasn't a big surprise. We all knew it was coming. It was just whether or not it was a port, which it would never be because the game creator, Sakurai, would never let them ever touch his game like that. He has too much creative control. So it's good that it's a new game, and it's good that everybody in existence of Smash Brothers is coming in, which is very important. So you got your famous YouTubers screaming, "Where's Snake? Where's Wolf? Where's Ice Climbers?"
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
That one is not
Ooh.
fulfilled yet. Sorry.
Not happening yet.
Mhm.
Here's DLC is a question. Maybe, maybe not. Very
I would
highly
be
unlikely this time.
Yeah, I find it highly unlikely they will bother with any DLC.
Loot boxes for your skins.
This my one hot take for Smash Brothers is that it feels less like the next Smash Brothers and more of a love letter to the Smash community.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
this is the definitive version of everything so far. This is not what's next. If you know what I mean. Like it's because there's no new characters, it's just everyone is coming back. There's no new stages, it's everything's coming back. So it's like it's not the next Smash Bros. As in Smash Bros. 5. It is we're taking 1 to 4. It would almost be like them doing like a remaster collection.
Yeah.
You know, like
Mhm.
this is
like
them
an
doing a
All-Stars.
remaster collection.
It's like saying, oh, maybe I don't know if this is how it is, but say there's NBA 2K, but I'll just say NBA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. Imagine there was like every 5 years something called NBA All-Stars. This is that. This is something that collects everything from the past, locks it down into a game. And if you've noticed, I don't know if you guys know, behind the scenes right now, a lot of balancing has been happening. The competitive community is actually in touch with Nintendo, which is something massive. Massive. Their balances, there are characters changing a lot. There's reworks. They're building up the community because when you think about it, a lot of games, they go competitive. You know, your Counter-Strike, your MOBAs, your Overwatch. But Smash is like the chess to the video game community, if you know what I mean. It's very delicate, but it still has an audience. And for years, it's been the same audience and people playing since Melee. And from that, we know like it's very close to people's hearts because it's all these characters. It's one of the biggest crossovers ever. It's massively ambitious. Like Smash is very important just because it's like providing an avenue for Nintendo to take the competitive scene of gaming seriously. Pretty much. Hopefully that works out.
I feel like, I don't know, with the balancing stuff that they had, I feel like they should have like a tuning type thing, maybe just for tournaments even. Like kind of like how Overwatch kind of has like their tuning and stuff, like you change certain stuff about certain characters, but I don't know how in depth the balancing goes that they do for like Smash tournaments, because I know that they had Project M or whatever. I don't know if they just tune into like damage or like animations being fixed or something like that. I don't know how in depth like the balancing goes for stuff like that. Did they add
Project M is a bit, it's not for casuals though. Project M, it's very difficult to pick up. You'd take months to understand it.
I'm just
but on top
asking
of that,
kind of like how in depth do they go with like their balancing for,
well,
I guess.
If you were watching the Smash thing, you would notice they changed the way dodging works. They changed, they made it easier to do what the pros do.
Okay.
That's basically the biggest thing. Everyone was like, oh, this is cool, all these characters. But if you were paying attention, they made it easier for you casual players at home to do what the pros do. So that now it sort of bridges the gap between competitive Smash and casual Smash, which is really good. It allows people to get, you know, like they feel like, oh, I'm doing what this guy did, you know. So it's really interesting to see what they're doing with that. But rest in peace, Waluigi. It's not happening, sorry.
He's an assist trophy already.
Yeah.
So.
He's already an assist trophy.
Forever an assist trophy.
Yeah.
But,
and that's,
what was it? Yesterday we were talking about like characters that we kind of want or like make sense to have in there, but what did I say? Bomberman?
Yeah,
Bomberman,
Bomberman.
it's his
Yeah.
trophy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would have loved Bomberman. I think Bomberman makes sense. I said Banjo-Kazooie, but I don't know.
The
I just
rights.
don't seeing it happen because
Yeah,
the rights.
that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. What's another character that I was talking about that makes sense? Just put Waluigi in. I don't know.
There's a lot of Mario characters. Yeah,
Hey.
there's a lot of Pokemon
Matt
characters.
Ridley hat.
Mario's good. Fire Emblem's
Really?
plenty.
And
Ridley was good because
I was informed
Yeah.
about the Daisy Ridley meme.
Yep.
But the Smash Brothers yesterday.
I'll be honest. As a fan of Mario games with my family, when I was
Uh-huh.
watching the Daisy reveal with my family, we all were so happy because we love Daisy from Mario Kart and Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was nice. And if you've ever played Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, you know that
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing you
Oh,
keep
great.
spamming, "Hi, I'm Daisy. Hi, I'm Daisy." You just keep spamming it and annoying everybody. But yes, no Waluigi, no Koopa. That was another one that people are a bit sad about. No King K. Rool, which is Donkey Kong's villain. And if you've noticed, there's only 2 Donkey Kong characters. No Dixie
Yeah.
Kong yet. Strange.
Just Diddy and Donkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see more Donkey Kong characters if they do add more. Because
Funky
he is
Kong could be
one
there.
of the
Funky Kong, hell yeah.
underrepresented.
Funky Kong, yeah.
Yeah,
Funky Kong's my
dude.
favorite ASM artist.
Say it.
If I had to guess, I would
Delicious.
actually expect it to be Cranky.
Cranky.
Yeah.
Because like in the
definitely.
lore of Donkey Kong, Cranky is the original Kong. Like he's the
Hmm.
Cranky Kong is the one that stole Mario's girlfriend.
I feel like
Uh,
Cranky also shows up a bit more than Funky, or no? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Donkey
technically.
Kong lore,
yeah.
But I guess
Would be
or,
nice, yeah.
or what's the female
Dixie Kong?
Dixie?
The yellow
yeah,
hair?
yeah.
Dixie Kong.
Yeah, she has the pigtails and can fly.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Basically,
That's
Diddy
good.
Kong,
That's
yeah.
good stuff for characters. Like in terms of developing a character, Dixie Kong's pretty well set up from her games. It wouldn't take that much creativity to build her.
Hmm.
Donkey Kong. Yes, there is lore behind it.
Yeah.
I
Same
mean,
thing
the
with
Donkey
any Mario
Kong,
game.
the Donkey Kong franchise is God. There's like 10, 12 games in
Yeah.
it.
Did you guys watch the TV show?
No, I watched like the Zelda TV show and like the Mario one, like the cartoons.
Oh no.
Oh man. Oh no.
Excuse you, princess.
What
The
about,
Zelda one was
Those are the
what
alright.
about Sonic with Steve Urkel?
Steve,
Hmm.
what?
He voiced Sonic.
He did,
Mm-hmm.
or he does?
Yeah,
He
it
did,
was.
yeah.
It was like I think that cartoon. Was it like '93 that came out?
Yeah, it
It's
was
old.
early '90s or late '80s.
I watched it as a kid when it aired.
That's when I
So,
was
like,
born.
it's old.
Wasn't there like a quote or something at the end of one of the shows? It was like, "Don't put your kid in a washing machine."
I mean, you shouldn't do that. It sounds bad.
I mean, yeah, but like, why though? Like, why even? I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory.
I mean, there was a lot of tragic washing machine deaths in the early '90s.
Is that true?
I mean, Vixel, I can't remember every quote from everything. Sorry.
Well, that's all I have to say really about Smash.
Mhm.
I'm excited for it. I'm
Yes,
sure
for
I'll
sure.
get it because there seems to be a lot of interest on the Discord. I'm not gonna get it though until I hear how the online is because I do not trust Nintendo to get it right. Which is it's like it's a shitty thing to say, but like they have routinely got it wrong more than they've got it right.
That's fair.
So I want to know like what is the latency like? What are the ping times like? What is the friend scenario like? Can like we easily get lobbies going? Like all of that
Yeah.
stuff.
And we'll pay. The fans will pay. Like
Yeah.
The ultimate
just commit. We don't care. We'll pay. We'll pay 20 whatever it is,
$1.
50 a year or something.
I will say I was very pleased by some of the small quality of life changes they added. Like they said, like Liger pointed out that the dodging has diminishing returns now, so you can't infinitely dodge. That's nice. They've also made it so every stage has an Omega variant, which basically means you have a flat,
Oh,
non-interactive level. Which, like, thank God, because
this
I
is
don't.
something. Oh,
It's so
yeah,
good.
continue.
It's so good.
Continue. I'll add on to that. It's not. If you remember, it was called Omega mode. Is it for anyone who played Smash
Yeah,
on Wii U?
it was all just
Yeah,
the
where they
flat.
flatten every stage.
Yeah.
My brother has been calling this, and he's so glad he was right. Someone said, "Okay, there's Omega. Can we have Alpha mode where not the platforms are removed as well. So like the gimmicks are gone, but the platforms and the land is still there. Right?
Okay, yeah,
It's still boring to play on a flat stage sometimes.
for sure.
And then they actually did add something similar where they called it battlefield mode. So every stage has its own final destination style and its own battlefield with the 3 platforms. So that adds a bit of like flair, which is good. And also on top of that, they, like I said, the dodging is cleaner now. You can do up airs, all kinds of competitive tactics now with just a flick of a joystick on your C stick or anything like that. And also on top of that, GameCube control is still viable, which is great because everyone loves it. Yep. And also, just before I forget, what was it called? It's called, they slow down big hits now. So that allows the pacing of the game to like keep everyone aware of what's going on. Because before you could like knock someone out and it's very quick, you don't know what's going on. But when someone's like lands a big hit and it slows down, you all notice it. You sort of prioritize. Okay, I want to win. We got to target this guy.
I think that's
people glow now when they're winning.
Well, yeah, the glowing thing is. I think the slowdown thing is only for like 1v1s.
Is it?
I think so. Just because like if you slow down the
That
game
makes
for everybody
sense,
else, it's gonna throw us timings for everybody else. But
Mm-hmm.
what I also liked was that the 1v1 scenarios have increased damage, so the pace of the game is quicker in 1v1s.
We'll see a lot of that. in
Yeah,
competitive play.
they said the amount of people in the game will dictate the damage now, which is interesting. So if you're doing like those 8v8s, you can't bust out like a 40% hit anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
Damn.
No more King DDD, absolutely destroying eight players. Just swinging your hammer like no tomorrow. Oh, and the final smashes. There are no more transformation smashes. It's literally what it is now, a final hit. It cleans up the pacing of the game as well. No more, I don't think there'll be Mega Lucario anymore. No Mega Charizard. No Giga Bowser.
Supersonic, man.
Yeah, Supersonic, if you've seen it, he just dashes around the stage and like destroys everyone.
So it's just a full screen like thing, or
Yeah.
just like an animation.
Yeah,
type.
it's just like
Yeah, pretty
transform
much.
for the final smash,
Everything's
and then
just
after it's
animation.
done, it's you're over.
Yeah.
Just like a flare thing.
That's pretty
You
cool.
go Super Saiyan.
I don't mind that at all. Yeah.
They've cleaned up the game really well, and I can't wait to play it.
I will buy it. I will play it. I don't know if I'll be good at it, but I will.
If anyone's coming to Anime Boston, I will take you on.
That will be the game to play.
Definitely.
I will say though, with Smash Bros. Kind of wrapping up,
Mhm.
overall, the Nintendo conference or the Direct I found really weak. Now, with
Yes.
that said, Nintendo does do directs multiple times a year, as Liger pointed out. But I still like my biggest concern with the Switch is that it's going to suffer the same ultimate fate that a lot of Nintendo consoles do, and it's that they just cannot keep up with the games because Nintendo insists on being unique and doing their own thing, which is fine, but they're never able to supply the games to support that because no one wants to make games for them because they want to make games that are going to sell on the big consoles,
Yeah.
not on the little weird stepchild console that is the Switch.
That
They
totally
had the
makes
same
sense.
issue on the Wii U. They've had the same issue with the Wii. This goes back literally all the way to the N64 where this division happened where Nintendo was like, no, we are sticking our feet in the ground. We're using cartridges. And that was the first red flag. And every console since then has been more red flags that like they've just dug themselves into a hole. This doesn't help that. There's of all those games we just listed, only 3 of them are big like AAA releases: Mario Party, Fire Emblem, and Smash Bros. That is it. Octopath, yes, but there is a chance that comes to other consoles later. And Octopath is a JRPG, so I don't know like how much that's going to drive console sales. But it's really Mario Party, Fire Emblem, and Smash Brothers. A 45-minute conference, and there's only 3 big games. Like, ooh. And
they should have stalled Kirby. Do you remember Kirby? The new game that came out?
Yeah, and that didn't even do that well, unfortunately. A lot of people were let down by it. So it's like Mario Party is a big one. That's good. Fire Emblem's a little more niche, and then Smash Bros is obviously the biggest one. But like there's nothing for the Switch this year. There's
this year.
Octopath next month. Then there's literally nothing until Smash Bros. Like, I want Nintendo to succeed so badly. I do. But Jesus, they just shoot themselves in the foot over and over again. And like you look at I look at this list, it's like sure, there's like 30 games on this list. There's not a one of them. Like, why would I want to buy any of these ports on the Switch where I know they're going to run at inferior resolutions, inferior frame rates, like all of that stuff? Like, if Nintendo wants to keep being the weird company, they need to convince these devs to make unique experiences for their console and not just port after port after port. It's just, it's really, I was really hoping this year was the year that it's like, yes, I finally have a reason to have my Switch. And it's like, no, it's not there. Like, I've had a. No, go ahead. No, I was just going to complain some more.
Look, I'm a Nintendo fan, and I still don't have a Switch. That to me says everything. I know 100%. Smash comes out, I'm buying my Switch, right? I'm gonna go back, look at what I missed. Am I gonna get Kirby? Maybe. Mario Party? Of course. Mario Kart? It's a port. I don't care, right? But I still probably would get it because my family might want it. But like, I'm waiting for next year. I'm waiting for the things we're waiting for. I'm waiting for Metroid because that's a main stake that's been missing, and I'm waiting for the Pokemon game.
Right,
like,
but that's still.
They should have given us something, just a little bit, just to give us hope. Because right now, like you said, Nintendo, I honestly think they were the weakest presentation. I honestly because I'm sick of giving them slack. That was horrible. You can't just rely on Smash. If Smash wasn't there, that would have been horrible.
Yeah, it would have been a pretty weak overall presentation without Smash.
They keep trying to rely on Smash.
And even looking to the future, like it's really great that there's going to be a Pokemon and a Metroid, and I fucking love Metroid Prime. Like it is, Metroid Prime 1 is my favorite game of all time. Like it surplants a lot of things, because that game, like that Metroid Prime is literally perfect to me. Like everything about Metroid Prime is so good. But like that still like doesn't fix the problem that I bet you there's like a year gap between Pokemon and Metroid Prime. What's gonna fill that? Like Nintendo has always had this issue, and they've it's not good, and I worry about the Switch. I really do. Nintendo is like Liger said, Nintendo is riding on the fact that people cut them more slack than they do any other company because it's Nintendo. But like, if this was Sony's console in this situation, they would be chomping at the bit to tear down the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, I like that my Switch. It's fun, but I still like when people ask me, it's like, should I get a Switch? Like, no, I don't. Unless, like, right now, the only two games that exist for it that I would even suggest getting are Mario and Zelda. Two games. The console's been out for like 2 years almost, and there's two games.
That's so true.
Like, if you look at the other games that people might recommend, like I saw Zant talk about Skyrim earlier. Like this is the worst place to play Skyrim. Sure, you can play it on mobile at 20 FPS at the lowest possible resolution. And then there's like all the other games are ports. Like the new Donkey Kong game that just came out, that's a port. It might be really good. It's still a port. The Hyrule Warriors, port. Mario Kart, port. Like everything's a fucking port of Wii U games that didn't sell. Like,
true.
Yeah, definitely. I distinctly remember going when the Wii came out, or in that first year. I remember going to the store, getting the Wii, getting my controllers, walking out with Metroid, Smash, Mario Kart. I think it was a Kirby game as well, and Donkey Kong. I walked out with a bunch of games, main title games, and we were satisfied. When the Wii U came, there was nothing. We waited till Smash, and we got Smash, and that was it. So like, what's going on? Like, what happened to releasing the console, then slamming us with all the games we want? Why does it take so long?
I feel like the Switch right now is still riding on a lot of good vibes, but I think by the end of the Switch's life, we are going to look back on it the same way we look back on the Wii U. I think it's just going to be another console that's like, yeah, there's like 5 or 6 good games for it, and there was really no reason for it to exist.
Unfortunately, on that sour note, I just cared about Smash, honestly.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me in that conference.
Let's end on a good note, man. Let's talk about our most anticipated games. Just quickly go over them.
I'll go through mine right now. For EA, what is it called? Anthem.
Mm.
Battlefield 5, maybe, sort of, not really. I'm gonna buy it just because it's Battlefield. Microsoft, Halo's cool. Gears of War 5 is still need to beat 4. What else came out with Microsoft?
Cyberpunk.
Well, that's
Well,
yeah.
it's revealed.
Yeah.
There, but
Yeah, Cyberpunk. I'm definitely looking forward to. Bethesda, I'm looking forward to playing Fallout 76. Elder Scrolls 6, whenever that is coming out. Square Enix, Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, you guys know. Ubisoft. Maybe Division 2. Sony. There's so many games that I honestly don't remember their names.
yeah, there's a lot this year.
Yeah, Nintendo, Super Smash Brothers. There we go. Those are my games.
Yeah. There's so many games. It's nuts.
All right, Ray. What are your games that you're looking forward to?
Games I'm looking forward to. Anthem, although it scares me because we talked about it a bit. Maybe Battlefield 5. I'm not completely sold on it yet. I don't know. Microsoft. Gears of War 5 potentially. I know. Well, I'm not. I'm looking at the conference stuff right now. I mean, it might not be released for Microsoft, but just what they what they did.
Totally.
Dying Light 2 looks interesting. I enjoyed Dying Light 1, although I didn't replay it a lot. I still enjoyed what I played of it. So I think I got my worth out of that. The Shadows Die Twice game, Sekiro, looks interesting. Definitely something I'm looking forward to. Halo, obviously, love Halo. Could play and talk about Halo forever. What was next? Bethesda, Fallout 76, of course. The next Elder Scrolls game, of course. Possibly the new Doom. I'll have to look more into that. I mean, more than likely, yeah. Probably gonna end up picking up the new Doom as well. Square Enix. I don't know if I'm gonna end up getting Kingdom Hearts just because I haven't played any of the other games. There's a lot of stuff in there. The Fall of Babylon. I don't remember where that was, or Babylon's Fall, whatever. I don't remember where in the conferences.
Square Enix.
Oh, Square Enix. Okay. Yeah, that game looks amazing. I am very much looking forward to that. Yeah. Oof. It looks good. What was that? What was that other samurai game? Talked about it already. What was it?
There's a
Sekiro?
Yeah, Sekiro.
Sekiro, yeah.
Isn't that Shadows Die Twice
yeah,
though?
well,
No?
Shadows Die Twice.
That's
and then
Shadows Die
Oh, sorry,
Twice
and
and Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima.
That's
That
Ghost of
game,
Tsushima.
yeah, looks great too.
That one looks better. Yeah,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
That game looks good as well. What was the next conference? Ubisoft? Did I go Ubisoft?
Ubisoft.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed. We talked about that for a while. That looks really good. Really interested in that. Beyond Good and Evil. The Division 2. It's on the fence for me. I'll have to look at it more. Skull and Bones, obviously. That's another good one I'm looking forward to.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, Sony. I don't remember what they had exclusively. Because there's a lot of overlap between all the conferences. I'm not exactly sure what they had specifically. I probably won't end up buying Last of Us 2, but I'm looking forward to somebody playing it and me watching it.
I mean, I know GB will be and I will be, so
Yeah.
and they'll be two very different experiences.
Yeah. Death Stranding. I need to see more of it. I don't know, like the story and all the stuff looks interesting. Like from just, the storytelling the aspect of it, but like I want to know what the game is first. Like I don't want to be bored to death by gameplay and to have it flop, but I trust. Hopefully it'll end up being something that I will end up buying. I don't know about Spider-Man. I mean, the game looks good.
Oh, shit, I forgot Spider-Man. It's fucking Spider-Man.
The game looks good, but I don't know if I'll end up buying it because there's already so many things on my list that I want to play.
Yeah.
Nintendo. I don't have a Switch, so but maybe one day.
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers
Yeah.
looks good. If I had a Switch, okay, put it this way, I'd definitely get Smash Brothers. Definitely get Mario Party. Maybe that new Mario Tennis game too, actually, because I enjoy Mario Tennis. But yeah, I think that's it. There's probably other stuff I'm missing, but I don't want to go on forever.
Best.
For the sake of brevity, since we already talked so much, just there's a lot, like probably like 20 games that I'm excited for, because I have very varied tastes.
Mhm.
But the two standouts are obviously Devil May Cry and Resident Evil, without a
Okay.
doubt.
For sure.
Forza as well, though. Skull and Bones, Shadows Die Twice, but it's Resident Evil and Devil May Cry are the two standouts.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and Smash. Hopefully.
Okay. Solid list.
What about you, Liger?
Liger.
Definitely. I'll sum it up quick. Okay, Forza, Trials. The
Oh,
racing
Trials.
games.
Yeah, I forgot
Hell
about
yeah.
Trials. Yep.
Definitely going to be fun. Just story-wise, really looking forward to that samurai game. What do we say? Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Tsushima. Hell yeah, that, and definitely Halo. And I like the Halo trailer because it looks very bare bones, and I hope it's in the style of Halo 1 or maybe 2. Session, because I loved Skate 2, so I'm hella hyped for a skateboarding game. Of course, anime stuff, the new Boku no Hero Academia game, and Jump Force. It's going to be hella awesome. Comic-wise, Spider-Man, hell yeah, it's going to be awesome. Then on Nintendo side, Mega Man 11. It's been a long time since we got something good from Mega Man. It'd be awesome to see it again. And of course, the Mario games, Tennis, Mario Party, and definitely Smash Bros. 100%. It's going to be an awesome time for gaming.
Yes, definitely the one you're most passionate about.
Yes.
Freaking Smash Bros.
About that.
So,
all right, and with that, guys, we're gonna close this very long
Very
podcast.
long podcast. E3 was big.
Nothing. Yeah. As you can tell, we could talk a lot about video games for a while, and well, we enjoyed talking about video games.
Video games are good.
Yeah, video games. Thank you to our guests again, Vest and Liger.
Thank you.
all for coming. Hope you enjoyed sitting your ass down for 3 hours talking about video games. Definitely open to inviting you guys again. Vest, you're already here a second time, so.
Yay, me.
First returning guest.
And then Liger, thank you for being you and coming
no
here.
problem.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
hope you
chat.
enjoyed.
Everybody coming out.
Yes,
Everybody.
everybody. Yeah, thank you to the audience as well
Yeah.
for sticking around for this long.
Yeah, damn. This is a
I know
really
it's-
long podcast.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes, but thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
E3 was a big event.
Can I thank Rocky? Man, I want to thank
Oh, Rocky for your amazing picture.
Yeah.
That is so detailed. Like, I feel so bad. Mine is like so difficult to draw compared to all of you guys.
It's just so funny how like detailed and crazy it is compared to like mine and like Wingo's, I guess. I don't know. Good job, Rocky. Good job.
Master artist.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely one of the
Good
best
job.
artists that I know.
Thank you for
anyway.
Kana for sticking around for 3 hours.
And also, as you guys know, GB's 24-hour stream is going to be next Saturday, so we will not be having a podcast then.
But we'll see you guys there.
Yeah, enjoy that 24-hour stream. But other than that, thank you guys again for coming again. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Ray.
We'll see you guys. Well, I was going to say next week. Not next week. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll see you guys at the stream next week. Are we gonna host anybody here? Rate anybody?
Yeah. Who's around?
Let's see. I'm gonna take a look right now.
I don't know.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm not
I
on the
could
right
Raid Shroud.
Twitch.
Hell yeah.
It's like just like a fly.
It's like, oh, get away.
Like a flea. We can host Matt
Yeah,
Tasting.
sure.
Who's that?
The ASMR Matt.
artist.
I don't remember. Like he has like he changed his name recently. He did.
Oh, yeah,
he did the
yeah.
Sound of Silence April Fool's video
Yes.
with GB.
Okay. Do it.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, bye guys.
Oh, hold on. You're gonna have the raid thing going.
Alright, okay. Bye guys. Soon.
Yeah.
Soon TM.
Yep.
Wait.
Uh,
Is it it's
it's
dash?
slash,
Slash?
right?
Because I always think it's a Nightbot command. It's not a Nightbot command.
give us some.
All right.
Bye guys. Soon.
Bye. Yeah. Ray, just cut it.
Not gonna cut it. I'm not cutting it. You must.
You're not
You
cutting
must
it,
suffer.
what?
See this last
Why?
10 seconds.
There's no reason to keep this.
Yes, it is. Just to make Gryphon uncomfortable.
Oh my
Oh my god, he's
Guys, don't worry. It'll be in the
revolution-
VOD.
All right. say hi to Matt for us, guys. You know.
All right,
See
it's
ya.
over.